This is Your Favorite Character Sucks with John, Matt, and Brandon.
Wrong. This is Your Favorite Character Sucks with a group of women who are about to blow your mind. This is a podcast where we look at the characters in our favorite books
And movies and TV shows.
and decide which is the best. How does one determine that? Well, with our extensive knowledge and a level of confidence possessed by, I don't know, an American man, we can discover the answer to any question. Before we begin, this podcast has assumed that you're familiar with the series being discussed. So if you haven't...
I want you to change this up because this is very...
I'm going to. I'm not going to say acid trip. I'm not a dork. So if you haven't read, listened to, or watched any of the things that we're talking about, then you might consider saving it for a little bit later. You've been warned. On this episode, Gilmore Girls, a show with maybe not even one good character.
Are we gonna do the la-las?
Oh, who's doing?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Okay, you ready? Tell us when we're starting. Wait, which one are we started on? Wait, we already started?
I just said start 5 times now.
Okay, but which la-la are we gonna do?
And then you walked away.
La, 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 la. That one?
I don't
La,
know.
la, 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 la.
Okay.
You know, that's how it starts.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's how it starts.
I was thinking about the
I was jumping
slower
in
la.
Meagan's. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. That's easier. We all
Get
know
your
that.
rhythm. let's get on one rhythm. Okay.
Are you ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. La 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 la.
What are we doing? What were those pauses?
I thought we were going to have to worry about copyright. No one will mistake that for the theme of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, it's not the theme. Oh, there we go. That's
That's
better.
the theme. Okay.
Feeling lonely and so cold.
4 more seconds and then we can be sued.
Okay.
15 seconds max.
Okay.
Alright, anyway.
We're done.
Opening statement.
Wait,
Erica,
okay,
you
so
can-
the opening thing I want to say really fast
Oh no, this is about your character.
is that I sing this song, the theme song, to my kids for bedtime sometimes, and my daughter really likes it. So, yeah, it's really sweet.
Sympathy.
Okay, but my character. I actually feel that I should go last because mine's the best, so I'm going to pass it over to someone. So, Christina.
what?
Great opening statement.
That's not an opening statement.
That was the worst.
Okay,
Passing
fine.
the ball.
Here we go. Okay, my favorite character, and here's the thing. I decided this podcast is called Your Favorite Character Sucks. It's not,
I'm pretty sure that
this
was
is
already
the best
established.
character, or this is,
figured that out.
okay, it's not, this is the best character, or this is the worst character. It's literally me arguing my favorite character. So, Paris is my favorite character because we have a lot in common. And I just see so much in Paris. So that's all I'm going to say right now, and then I'll argue a little bit more later. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Christina.
go ahead, Christina. My favorite character is Sookie, and because she's like a ride or die friend.
Ride or die.
Ride or die.
Ride or die.
Always has Lorelai's back.
Always. But
Even when
a little
Lorelai's
bit too
shitty.
much. Yeah, a little bit too much.
Even when she's shitty, she's still there.
Yeah.
And I have more, but later.
Like when she made that cake. And we were like, here's Lorelai.
Oh,
And
yeah,
she's
I was like,
oh,
no.
I didn't make anything. I'm like, dude.
Yeah. She even named it. Wouldn't even tell
And
me the
she didn't even get mad.
She's
Like, Sookie's so
no,
sweet.
Suki is the best.
I would be.
She is.
Sweet.
She is literally the best.
St. James.
She's alright.
She's the best.
She's alright. Okay, go.
But Emily,
Meagan knows how to
She-
debate. Here we go. Tell them who the best character is.
she is the baddest bitch on the roster, without a doubt. She is the top of the Gilmore Girls. She runs everything. She's the baddest bitch.
Okay.
She's the
Gilmore
snarkiest. She's a dramatic at times, but she has reason to be.
Okay, I can't wait to debate that one. Okay. So,
Also, when you said baddest bitch on the roster, I instantly thought DAR. Like, that's the roster.
yeah, she definitely is.
Daughters of the American Revolution.
Of course.
Come on, guys.
Get with
Get it
it.
together.
Did you watch it?
All right, Erin. Who's
Okay,
your,
me.
who's your
So-
character that's not the best? But yeah.
The best.
Who's your second best?
Okay, let me tell you. Can I tell you my thought process a little bit behind it? So here's my thought process.
ready.
And I mentioned this to you guys a little bit earlier, but I was trying to think about why. First of all, I do need to give credit. My sister actually came up with this. After I listened to Jonathan's first podcast about Harry Potter, I just started going around and asking all my friends and family what their favorite character is of various things. And we started talking about Gilmore Girls. And my sister came up with it, and then it grew on me. So now I'm fighting for it. So I decided that the reason I love Gilmore Girls so much, I watched it a bajillion times. Every time I'm pregnant, that's all I want to do is watch Gilmore Girls. It's because I want to check out from the terrors of this world into Stars Hollow. And I'm like, Stars Hollow is my favorite part about Gilmore Girls. And who embodies Stars Hollow more than any other character? Good old Kirk. My man Kirk Gleason.
That was good.
So he has a last name. He does. He has a last name.
Kirk has a last name.
What's the last name?
Gleason.
I can't wait to debate Kirk.
G-L-E-A-S-O-N.
You could spell it. Yeah.
That
was a really
I'm like,
good opening.
You know, right? Yeah.
I thought about it. Well, I have to.
Solid second. Yeah.
And I just kept thinking about like all these major moments in Gilmore Girls, like, you know, in the whole world of Gilmore Girls, and Kirk makes them all better.
Like, Kirk is definitely comedic relief, but could the show still be great without him? Yes, absolutely. If Kirk wasn't there, would I be sad? No.
No, because then it'd just be a boring, like, mother and daughter show.
That's
but, like,
why I
Kirk
watch
makes
it.
everything better about it.
Does he represent the town, though?
If
there
anybody
another character
represents
that
the town,
represents the town?
it's Taylor and his broke
I
ass.
was
Like,
gonna
it's
say Taylor and what's the girl's name?
Miss Babette or Miss Patty? Miss Patty.
Yeah. I
You're
almost
good, too.
picked the town as my character, how, like, people pick New York as a character, you know? But then I was just like...
Let's see.
Well, my friend,
Yeah.
that's basically what I was trying to do. Well, and then my friend came up with the fact, she's like, I feel like their conversations are the best character. Like, just the back and forth wit of all the different characters is the best. But since
Very
that's not a real
fast-paced.
character, I feel like that's a cop-out.
No.
The dialogue is the worst part
dialogue.
of that show.
No, it is not.
It's also the best.
Yeah, it's also the
Because
best.
you can easily check out and
It's
then check back
inhuman.
in.
Yeah, it's
That is
inhuman.
so true.
That's what we love about it. Stars
I
Hollow
miss
is
it.
like almost real, but like just whimsical enough that
It's
it
insane.
makes it fun. Like nobody can eat as much as they can and
No
still
one
stay
talks like that.
size 2.
Yeah.
But they do, and we love it, and it's all right.
And I think, like, the more you watch it, the more used to it you get, and it's not that bad. Because when I first started rewatching it on that first season, I was like,
makes you
oh,
dizzy.
man.
Really? No,
And
I feel
then
like I talk
as I
that fast
got through
all
it,
the
I was
time.
like, okay, good.
You know
Yeah,
it's
same
I'm
here.
used to this again.
Same here. The
Slow.
first
You talk a
season,
lot,
we both
not
were like...
fast.
oh.
It's a difference.
First season, we both were like, I don't know if we can keep watching this.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it, but then I was just like, I think I might be too old for this now.
I think it was also just because Rory's so young in that first season. Like,
But you know
see,
what?
you see her change from that
Fun
first one to the
fact,
second
though,
one.
she's actually 21 in the first season.
Alexis
she
She
Bledel.
looks like a baby.
Yeah,
she looks like she...
She's
It's
got that
amazing.
Ariana
Her face
Grande
changes.
thing where, like,
But
they
even
never
now,
look
as
like
an
they
Always
adult,
look like it, yeah.
But, like, even in her mid-30s right now, she still has this sweet, like, her face, like, I mean, you can see it in her eyes a little bit, but overall, she's, like, the same
still looks
person.
like a baby.
She's still young looking. She's so cute.
But I feel like
love
even
her.
from, like, because I'm on season 3 now, and I'm just like, you look older. Like, it looks like she hit
She
puberty.
does.
I guess she didn't, obviously.
Yeah.
But it looks like she hit puberty because I feel like she had, like,
You know what it
baby
was, though,
fat
honestly?
face, like,
Hollywood
fat.
probably got to her.
Oh,
she probably
probably.
started drinking. She probably started doing a little bit of drugs. She honestly, Hollywood definitely just
slander
got
this
to her.
woman's name.
Okay, no,
That's why
listen,
no one picked her.
listen up. Because, side note, I mean, Justin Bieber, like, he's only like 24, but he looks like he's in his
just saw him
mid-30s.
the
He's
other
not
day.
24, is he?
That
He's 25.
That
Yeah.
mustache does not do well.
Yeah, and he says it's because he
Yeah.
has Lyme disease and all these other things. But okay, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
No, this is part of
Back to the
Gilmore
Gilmore
Girls.
Girls.
Yeah, this is Gilmore
I don't
Girls.
hear anything about Justin Bieber's Lyme disease.
Okay, I'm gonna watch his documentary
Really
soon and
ever
review it on Instagram. So stay tuned. Okay. Anyway,
No lack of
let's
shameless
talk about
self-promotion.
the.
It's fine.
Wait, how many times have you guys watched Gilmore Girls?
Okay.
I think I've seen it all the way through at least 4 times.
4 full times.
So, yeah.
7 seasons. 6,
Yeah,
5.
7.
Seven seasons.
7 seasons.
22 episodes
Not
per
the
season.
Ruby. Okay,
Okay.
but here's the thing. I was talking to them. I watched it like the very first season originally.
Live.
I actually live. I remember talking to my friend about it, and she's like, "You watch Gilmore Girls? Isn't that about 4 old ladies?" I was like, "No, that's Golden Girls." I can't remember telling
Girls.
people about it.
Also, we should do that.
Snaps, so that's
Yeah,
Goal is true.
Yes.
And I was telling
Twerkable.
them I grew up, so
Twerkable.
I'm
I
Rory's
had to pole
age.
dance to it
So
once.
when she was a sophomore, I was watching her live as a sophomore, and we grew up together and went
See,
to
and
college
that's
Same
together.
with Degrassi.
And then
We will do Degrassi
Y'all
one
are
day.
babies.
Gosh, that'll be a hell of a rewatch.
Degrassi will be the next one of these.
Oh
that
my
we
gosh,
do.
Degrassi's
Or maybe
iconic.
Grey's Anatomy, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I watch that too.
Grey's Anatomy has way too many characters for there to be. A
There's
They
gotta be
all
like 2
go
good
and leave.
ones.
I think, yeah. Are there any good
I feel
ones?
like there's only
Daily,
one original
of course.
character on the show now.
No, there's still
That's because it's been forever.
There's Alex.
Alex is off
Meredith.
now.
Gone, yeah.
Well, he hasn't left officially yet.
Okay.
At the end of the season, he'll leave.
Bailey.
So Bailey.
Oh,
Still
Bailey.
watching
Richard.
the show.
Oh,
Richard,
okay.
there we
Yeah,
go.
never mind.
Grey's Anatomy.
I think that's it, though.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls.
Okay, so let's talk about the worst characters. Let's go ahead and dive in and say that I think Lorelai is literally the most obnoxious, narcissistic person I have ever seen on television, and every single time I want to watch the show,
I know, that's
every time I watch it, I like pull my sleeves up and I'm like ready to box. Like I want to fight her, and we're the same age now, so it feels appropriate. But that's what's even more annoying is that like watching her, knowing that her character is supposed to be like a couple of years older than us.
She
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
turned 35 in the one that I watched.
She is truthfully the most immature adult I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like
But in
I
her
get it.
defense,
She has so
yes.
many reasons to be that way.
Yes.
But it's also just like stop.
This is the one thing I
But
wanted to say.
she-
So
yeah,
stop.
so-
I'll jump in a minute.
She had a kid at 16,
She had a kid at 16,
so she never
and that
really grew up.
That pauses them. 'Cause I
For
feel like-
sure.
Because I know so many people who had kids very
Yes.
early at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then you could just tell that at a certain point they were growing up with their children.
Oh, absolutely.
And at a certain point they
Absolutely.
just stopped growing up altogether. And
But it's to the point though where some episodes, I feel like Rory is parenting her.
Yeah,
And
that's what they're thinking.
as me as a parent,
That's what
though,
they're trying to
I'm
do.
thinking about my kids doing that, and I'm like, that is so unfair. Like
were-
you have
you
to
were
stop.
so much older and more mature when
Oh,
you had your
obviously.
children.
I mean, of course.
But she was 16 from this rich, like, affluent family.
Yeah.
Oh, I
She
know.
left to
Yes.
this small town, and
Yes.
then she had a child.
Yeah. But also, and everybody has always taken care of her whole life. So it's like, even the town, like even when
Plus-
she's on her own, the whole town's
the
watching, the
town
whole
rallies around
town's
her.
doing everything
The-
for her.
the lady that owns
Leanne. She thinks
Mia.
she can cry and get out of things. She thinks she can just break up relationships whenever she feels like it. She thinks she can just call Rory at 2 a.m. because she's bored. Like, grow
She's just like,
up.
I'm cute and clever,
I
so
think
everybody.
She like
happens
runs
in the
into her
show,
room and
though.
wakes
She
her up
woke
so
her up.
much.
I was thinking, like, who's going to wake up their kid who's trying to get a good night's sleep?
That's because you guys have like
No,
4 and 1 year
But
olds.
even in
No one
high
wakes up a
school,
4-year-old.
even in high school, I would never go into my kid's room like,
14-year-old going.
I'm bored. Wake up, I'm bored. Like,
But would you do that to your best friend?
No,
She's your
I would
best
even
friend.
go
know.
in.
Because they're best
Did
friends.
you say I don't
got
have
you.
friends?
No. Way to let that insecurity blow up like that.
But no, even when she does go into her room and she's like, I'm bored, it's because she has a Max in her
Max,
bed.
there's a boy
And she's like, there's a boy in my bed.
It's
Why are you
so
talking to your
weird.
16-year-old about that? Like,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
upstairs and be with your boyfriend? Like, stop
Yeah,
it. It's
even
unnecessary.
that, like how she just. I mean, again, it's because she is the way she was raised, but like the way she was like, I'm not gonna get married. Like, let's just go. And like Rory was so heartbroken, and like like Rory's little face was like, Mom. Like she wanted it so badly. She's like, let's just drive away somewhere. And that's
Oh
why
my
Rory
God.
grows up to
But
be
then-
such a terrible
Max.
Max.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
so, and I think that's why Rory just
and even-
runs away from things because she watched her
Rory
mom do
gets a
so
pass
much.
because her mom is such a piece of crap.
Yes,
Like,
exactly, Rory. But then also it goes back to Emily and like the way Emily is because she won't talk about anything either. Emily's always
Emily's the
like,
opposite.
"Oh, you can't do this. Fine, I'm shutting you out, and I'm just gonna be mean, and I'm just gonna put up a wall." And so it's
So
just,
Emily was hurt once her child has left her. Imagine
Oh my gosh,
being in your big
no.
old home. Imagine being in your
Yes.
big old home, having everything, thinking your life is literally perfect, and then your child gets pregnant and just leaves.
no, and that was
And
so
you
sad.
don't know where they go.
That yes,
Your
yeah.
grandchild and
that
your
was
child are now
so
missing.
messed up to
Dude,
me.
that moment
and that's
she
what
went
I'm
to see
saying.
Mia, I
Lorelai
was like,
is so messed up because she seriously just leaves a note and deuces. And I get it, like your mom's annoying.
Even when she was in
but
labor.
You were 16 years old and your
She's
mom
left
let
it
you
out
stay
saying
in
I'm having
this
a
house.
baby.
Like your mom let you stay here. You have all these maids like taking care of you and your baby, and you just bounce.
Also, you can't say that Emily's not trying. She is trying.
I think
She
at a
is
certain
trying.
point,
I
and
feel
her
like she
tried so
grows
hard,
very-
but after that happened and she left, I think that insecurity was always still there. Like she knows that when things get tough, Lorelai will leave her. So at a certain point, she has to protect herself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because you could tell in the episodes Emily really wants that relationship with her daughter
She really
and her
does.
granddaughter.
Yeah.
But it's just so hard because Lorelai doesn't.
Because-
the whole time, the family dinner thing, she's just like, I guess I'll go to my mom's to eat dinner.
Because Lorelai is literally the
Like
worst.
Tristan.
No, I really hate.
She's
I hate the way
Anthony
Lorelai
Neal.
treats Emily.
She
Like
treats-
even
I
as
hate
a
the way she
grown up,
treats
it's like terrible.
everyone.
Like she doesn't tell her anything about her life at all.
And Emily's
And,
obnoxious.
and
but
Rory
she's
has to
judgy.
always
that's
be like,
Hardly.
she's annoying.
She's super judgy.
Rory always has to be
But her
like,
mom is.
Mom.
Emily's
Her
judgy.
mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Emily's mother-in-law.
Oh,
like, treats her like
Oh,
garbage.
Lorelai. She's the original Lorelai Gilmore.
The mom.
Yeah.
Richard's
Trixie.
mom.
Richard's mom?
They call
Yeah.
her Trixie.
Tricks.
Sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying?
I don't remember.
Sorry.
I'm just joking. But I really
Lorelai is
don't.
a narcissist, like big time narcissist. What was I gonna say
Just
about
privileged, I think.
it? There's one more aspect.
Yeah, and she tries to act like she's not.
Didn't you,
Well,
for
yeah, y'all
Lorelai?
hit a lot of it. You said a lot of what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Man,
She
there's
tries
one
to act
more
like
thing.
everything she did in her life is because she worked so hard. When truth, I mean, she
She's
did.
given a
She
lot.
did do some stuff, so we can't say she didn't. But
It's-
truthfully,
She did.
like,
She
yeah.
took
Worked
a
her way up from a
newborn.
maid.
I mean,
She
but
had a
that's
full
the
place to
thing.
stay. Like people were
didn't-
taking care of
She wasn't
you.
some
It's not like
16-year-old who was struggling. She was a 16-year-old who ran away, who got taken in by another person. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like she had to like be out on the streets and like struggle like for real.
Okay,
she
but
went
I
to
kept-
Stars Hollow.
This
She
chick-
could have slept
Trying to
outside
think,
and
though,
been safe.
I kept trying to think why everyone loves Rory, like why the town loves Rory so much. She can't be the only like teenager who's worth anything there because they have a whole high school. So there's plenty of other teens that they could choose, but they all choose her. And at the very last episode, Richard and Emily come to like Rory's big going away party, and they said this is a like should be attributed to you. Like you are the reason that this whole town loves Rory and loves your family. They all love Lorelai. So there's gotta be something good about her. If
About
the whole
Lorelai,
entire time
she's
loves Lorelai.
funny.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just like their mascot in a sense.
But she's
Yeah.
everybody that she's like friends with, and she's just using them. Like she uses Sookie, she uses her daughter, she uses her mom, and Luke, the guy who owns the diner or whatever.
Oh, we don't even need to get started.
The
on
way
the
that
Luke
she treats him when she's in a relationship and when he's in a relationship is so messed up.
So messed
it's
up.
so
Supposed to be
messed
cute
up.
and quirky.
Yeah,
It's
but
not,
it is
though.
not. It's
Whenever-
never cute. It's
when he gets in a
never-
relationship and she comes and tells him advice like, I don't think you should do this. I get so pissed
Me
off. 'Cause I'm like,
too.
it is not your business.
That's why I'm like, she's
Get
so
away from him.
immature. Like,
But Gilmore
Like she
Girls is
wants
like,
him on standby constantly.
Yes.
If something else doesn't work out.
Come on, nerds. You know what it is. Every episode I get on here and beg you to follow us and like our stuff and blah, 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 blah. If you haven't done it by now, then you're just lazy. Twitter and Instagram at YFCSPod. Hit the subscribe button. Like, rate it. If you want to be extra, you can review it. Just a little thing like, hey, this is an awesome podcast. Click, reviewed, done. All right, not going to waste any more of your time. Back to the show.
But like Gilmore Girls is like a just a time of like a
it's a different.
it's a
time.
piece of its time.
Absolutely.
That show coming out right now.
Because
No,
some of the
would not
stuff that
work.
they
We were talking
say
about
were
that.
like,
R word.
and they also just like so many things
What was
like
the Aryan quote?
I don't even remember. It was something like,
Talking about
y'all would make the
Christopher.
perfect Aryan breed or something. And I was like,
Aryan couple.
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah, they were like,
Like,
they're gonna
why?
have the best Aryan babies or something.
And then
like that.
even
I was
like,
what?
Yeah.
even at one point, Emily was like, I can't tell any of these races apart. Like about all her
But she's
different.
an old-
maids?
she's-
Yeah.
she's
Right,
an
but I'm
older
still,
white
but
woman, yeah.
still,
Yeah.
still, a lot of the things they say, I'm just like, I don't know if that'd be said anymore, but
Emily grew up in a different time.
That's what I'm saying. All right, here's the other
a
thing.
time where you still have like people and you call them maids and
Here's the other thing
like
I
make
wanna
them
say.
wear the outfit.
Yes.
Yeah, the outfit is so
Yeah.
much.
While I hate Lorelai, I think all the characters are actually good. I think this is a show that has good characters. Like, as you were saying, Lorelai makes sense. Like, she had a kid at
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
Like, even though I
Their
hate everything
backstories
about
make
her,
sense about who they are.
what she is makes sense. You know?
Well, and honestly,
they-
I really disliked the whole reboot because Rory was just such a piece of crap.
But here's the thing.
that's probably much more realistic.
It is
but
very
that's why I don't
realistic.
like it because
Nope.
Stars Hollow shouldn't be realistic.
Watching the
it should be
show-
my special little place I go
Yeah.
to when I don't want to deal with the world.
Do you
This
not
is
see
a TV show.
Rory's progression though to become who she is? Because when I'm
Yes.
watching it, I'm like, yeah, Rory literally cannot handle. She gets
Failure.
one person
One-
says something
yes, one
poorly
speed
about
bump
her,
and
and she's
she's
like,
gone.
because everyone treats her like this perfect little princess
Yeah.
where she grew up. So then she goes to the real world,
But
and
I'm
they're
not-
like, your paper sucks. And she like cries and it's like, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. Maybe I should quit.
Yeah,
She's
when
never had to
Logan's
try.
family hates her, she's like, but
my
I'm
gosh.
a Gilmore.
Yes.
And I'm like,
oof.
Rory.
The way she treats guys, too. I feel like she's...
Well,
They're all-
because
She
she
never
learned from her mom.
Yeah.
She learned from her
That's
mom.
what I'm saying. She gets a pass because her mom sucks. Like, that's...
Sucks.
Which I feel like her mom definitely like talked about like, oh, you know, I'm not bringing guys around and da da da. But it's like, that kind of changes throughout the
did.
show. It definitely starts to. Yeah.
Honorable mention, Mrs. Kim.
I almost picked her, but then I was like, I haven't seen the last 2 seasons. I can't remember the last 2 seasons.
Oh no, she's great. She actually gets better. I feel like the thing about Emily that I don't like is I don't feel like Emily grows very much. Like I feel like her relationship with Lorelai doesn't really ever change. She's still the same person until the reboot, but she like does the same stuff and she's the same person. Miss Kim grows and changes. She like. What? Go ahead.
But doesn't Emily try and become more like independent of Richard and like trying to find her place towards the end?
Yes, because in the beginning I feel like she was such more
but that was
the perfect wife. Like, oh look, like,
but then at the end she's like, I want to work at the inn. Like I want to be a worker bee.
Now I'm an independent bad bitch.
When did she want to work?
You know, season 7.
Don't listen to the internet.
Yeah, I think it was season 7. She wants to help Lorelai and like be, because don't they like almost get separated, her and Richard?
Yes, but that was earlier.
And then the actor who played him died.
I know that was super sad.
Yeah. That happened while the show was still running, right?
No, right before they were filming the
reboot.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Because they had him passed away in the reboot.
See, like I feel like Richard grows. I feel like he changes throughout the season too.
His job.
Yeah, I don't like Richard. Period.
You don't?
Nah, I don't like him.
I like him.
He's probably the top
I don't like
hard.
But here's the thing, you guys. I don't like any of the men on the show.
But also, are they good? You don't like them, but are they good characters? I think.
I don't know, but
Richard
I don't like
makes
any of the
sense.
men. I could do the whole show without all of them.
Even Kirk?
No, if they were there for sexual reasons only, that would be fine. But other than that, don't need any of them.
I actually did feel a little sad picking Kirk because I feel like the Gilmore Girls is like such a women-forward show.
Yeah.
I kind of felt a little sad picking him boy.
That is one good thing about the show.
It is. It has a lot of the characters are women, and they're all relatively strong, and you know it passes the Bechdel test where they aren't just talking about boys all the time.
And it's
That
like
was
you were
one of
saying
the
before,
things.
it's unrealistic. It Stars Hollow. It doesn't make sense in the real world because like women like that don't exist.
Boy vibes.
Stars Hollow.
That's one of the things I liked about
Go back to your
Sookie,
corner.
because like I feel like at the beginning she's just like this klutzy little like I'm done, I can't do anything, and then she slowly
really
starts
does
progressing.
progress.
She like
progress.
and
Yeah,
I realized that
they're
she's
on
not just
I think the writers
she's a mom.
really, or the producers,
she's pregnant.
Yeah,
they do a good job realizing that Melissa McCarthy's better than what they put her up for, because I think they were trying to make her that like silly friend, you know
That
what I mean?
silly,
little side
klutzy,
character.
just like I'm burning everything. I'm breaking
and then they were like, you know what, she's a good actress. Like there's no reason to demean her for this. So I think that like them giving
That was
her,
one of the things I really liked.
Sookie is honestly the only character on the show that doesn't have a flaw, in my opinion.
I love her. What about Lane? Lane's great.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Best friend. There's a good best
Lane's
friend.
storylines are the most boring, obnoxious
that's not
storylines
her
to me.
No, but
It's not her fault.
I
It's
like the
not.
juxtaposition between Lane and Mrs. Kim and Lorelai and Rory. I like
That's
those.
true.
I love those
Yeah.
stories when it shows like strict mom versus loose mom and like how it
Yeah,
plays
or
out.
even
I like that.
strict mom raising a daughter who's rebelling versus like Emily and Lorelai, because Lorelai tries to talk to Miss Kim about it, being like, I was, you
But
know,
also, Mrs.
Lane.
Kim is not Emily because she's an immigrant who's like hardworking and all that stuff, and like owns her own business. And Emily is affluent and like privileged, and it's like tradition. Everything's tradition. So it's like they're
Kim
coming
works
from different.
hard and
They're coming from different areas, but also both straight.
similar.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the story with Lane though, like, or at least what annoys me with some of her stories is just like how much of a teenager she is. I don't know, or like stereotypical like. She's talking about this boy, and she's like, I'm gonna go write a song about him tonight, and I'm just like,
Did y'all ever see her on this commercial?
she
this one
touches the
time?
guy's hair.
Isn't that so funny? I saw her in a commercial. It was like a Sprint commercial.
Yeah,
and I
she's
was
like sitting by the pool.
And it was so funny because I was like, that's Lane from Gilmore Girls. And I was like, but no one else knew that. Like, I asked, it was at work when I saw it, and they were like, no, I've never
You
seen
need to
it
hang
before.
out with some better people.
But even doesn't she like get married and have a kid? Too?
Yeah, and I don't like
That's
any of the
not fair.
teenage marriage stuff.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not into it.
Because how old was she?
She was probably like
she was
20.
like in
Yeah,
college.
I didn't
Yeah.
like that storyline.
Yeah.
I feel like
No.
she would have went on to do different
Yeah,
things.
I was like,
know what to
I
do.
think
That wasn't
they didn't
fair
know
that
what to do with her.
they made her get twins.
Yeah.
She had sex one time on her
Yeah.
honeymoon, and
Like,
they
why
stuck her
her?
with twins.
Should have been some
that's
other
the
girl
worst.
in
Could've been
high school.
I
What's
mean,
the other
Rory
girl?
was a floozy and never got pregnant.
But what's
She
the other
does in
girl?
the
She does. That's true. She does in the
has an
reboot.
accident.
Oh yeah.
What's the trajectory though of that character? Otherwise, it would be like she goes and tours with a band or something. So then she'd have to leave Stars Hollow. So then, like you know,
Yeah, they could have just had her off the show, honestly. I'd rather her not be on the show than her storyline.
But
She could call in every now and then, or like move to New. I don't know. I just didn't really care for her. So okay, so there's Lane.
yo.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's why Kirk.
Oh wait, were we
is-
talking about the? Oh, okay.
Here's why Kirk isn't the best character.
Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
Because I can, out of all these characters, I really do think Sookie's the best one. I know it's not the one that I picked.
She's definitely the most likable.
We're gonna have to start ganging up.
But also
against them.
Paris. I guess we really haven't even talked about
Yeah, talk
Paris.
about
No,
and that's
talk
the one I
about
picked. So
Paris.
let's just nix what I was gonna say and let's just talk about Paris.
No, you were talking about Kirk. What happened to Kirk?
Kirk is just honestly he's there for comedic relief, which the show does need.
Yeah.
But to me, he's just obnoxious. He's just some.
Oh, he's so
It's almost like I feel bad for him, and I feel like everybody in the town feels bad for him. He got all of these. He's like that person who is like. The teacher is like, well, this kid really needs the attention. Let's let him be the helper this week, everybody. It just feels like
That is
him
him.
every job. So he has all of these jobs, and he's just very odd. And it's almost like I don't feel like I can laugh at his scenes because I feel like I'm making fun of him. I'm not laughing with
the
him.
scene where he makes the movie
Where he makes
and
his
he's
own movie.
dancing.
It's so
You
good.
can't tell me you didn't laugh
can't
at that. That
remember.
one,
That was beautiful.
It was so good. It was like
what
one
was
of
it
the
called?
best
Filmed by
moments.
Kirk?
He's funny.
filmed by Kirk.
He's funny, but I would never. I would
Wait, your
say.
daughter.
I would say I could survive with if he didn't exist, I'd be fine.
No, it would be fine, but it wouldn't make
because
the show
he
what
doesn't.
it is.
But he doesn't have any.
It makes it more quirky.
He doesn't have any connection, though, truthfully, to the Gilmore Girls.
However,
he does,
don't
to
forget how she framed
everything.
it. She framed it as he's the town.
town.
He's the town.
See, and I don't think he's the town.
He makes everything better. I was actually thinking, I didn't get to this part in my thing, and then we'll talk about Paris. When you think about different moments in Gilmore Girls, like when Rory and Dean break up, it's like a big moment. They're on the floor. It's a dance-a-thon. But what makes it great is they're standing there crying, and Kirk
Kirk's like,
is running around with a trophy to the theme of Rocky.
Yes,
And-
like a child,
Yeah,
that you
it's fine.
laugh at.
And then when Rory, they actually bring that up. They're like, Kirk has very little in his life. Do we really want to take away this
That's
trophy?
what I'm
Yeah.
like. Kirk,
But he gets better.
it's like we feel bad for
They
Kirk.
also-
So
yeah.
if he wins this,
Does
it's
he
because
grow?
we feel bad for him.
No,
That's
he's
fine.
not
It's
the person
fair.
the whole
So
time.
He does grow.
Yeah.
He gets a girlfriend. He moves out of his mother's house. He ends up realize that since he's had every single job in Stars Hollow, he has just shy of $500,000,
Right.
and buys a house. And in the reboot, owns his own business, Uber.
So that's a good argument, but
That's
I'm
the
still
best
gonna
I
go
still
ahead.
am
I'm-
good.
That is
I
the
refuse
best
to
glow
pick
up.
Kirk, but that is literally the best argument we're gonna get today.
Thank you.
No problem.
They also do make a comment about him, and they're like, I hope he never looks too hard
At his life. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I feel bad for him when I laugh.
we
Sometimes
love
I'm like,
him. But
am I
he's
making
okay with
fun of?
his
It's
life.
almost like Dwight from The Office. I can't stand Dwight from The Office, and
but
everyone
Dwight's
thinks
mean.
he's
Kirk's not
everyone thinks
mean.
he's
Yeah.
so funny, and I'm just like. He
Dwight.
definitely
Kirk's a
has
little
something
mean,
going
though.
on in
Dwight.
his brain.
Dwight.
He's got something
Yeah.
going. No, it's just I don't want to make fun of him.
Yeah.
It's I feel bad for him.
You're gonna say about Paris.
Yeah, go to Paris.
What makes Paris the best character of the show?
I don't think she's the best character.
Girl,
She's my favorite
You're
character.
shooting yourself in the foot.
I'm not
I
because
think she changed her mind
no,
halfway
I
through.
started this off at the beginning by saying I cannot
I know
pick the
what you
best
said.
character because the best character in my opinion is so I'm going with my favorite character.
All right, well, no one's gonna believe, but go ahead.
And my favorite character is Paris because she reminds me a lot of myself. And Paris,
She's not mean. She's so mean.
she is very mean, and that's the issue. But it all stems back to parenting because she
Whatever,
had nobody
yes.
raising her.
Everyone
She
had
was
mean
so
parents.
neglected.
She's
She's had to have this cutthroat life where her nanny's her mom,
A
basically.
sweet
This show is
nanny
about
that sticks
parenting.
with her whole life
Yeah.
and teaches her Portuguese. Her
This show's
Portuguese
about
nanny.
It really is. It's so much about parenting. I watch it and I'm just
like,
like,
another
Grandma
show.
did
yeah,
nurturing.
it's super. It really is. It's really perfect that I watched it when I was pregnant and didn't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
watched.
what were you gonna say though
Yeah.
about Paris? We said.
I mean,
negative,
I don't know. She was
She's
just
a lot like you in what way?
Well, she's sometimes she just is very spastic almost about every little thing that she does,
Everything.
and just very she'll talk and just stare at one point and not even look at anybody around her and just keep talking and talking and talking. And it also kind of reminds me of my daughter too. And I always think I'm like, if I don't nurture
She's
my
fast.
child, she's gonna turn out to be like Paris. Because Paris had no nurturing in her life. So I think that she's a genius and she's really smart, but she has no social skills. But then you watch her sort of get social skills a little bit. I mean, she gets,
No, even
yeah,
in
a little
college,
bit. That's why I
when
said
she
a
became
little
the
bit.
editor and turned that. Did you get that part when she became the editor? She became editor and went crazy and ended up building her own bunker and sitting in with a little hot plate and wouldn't even call people by their names. It just almost took down the whole newspaper.
She was obsessive, but she knew what
was
she
very
wanted, and
obsessive.
she was
Yeah.
trying to just get to her
That's
end
a
goal.
good word,
Not
obsessive.
appropriately, but she was just trying to get to her end goal.
But nobody was there to
tell her how to do it appropriately. To nurture, tell her how to do it appropriately. It's just like, go for it.
Like, even at one point,
These are your
Lorelai
goals.
goes to hug her, and she's like,
what are you doing?
yeah, like, she didn't know what it was, and I was like, this baby.
That's what I watched
right before
you got here. That was the episode.
AU, autistic.
Maybe she might be.
I can see it.
Yeah, she does.
She has some of those
I think that is one of the things that the writers executed
very
perfectly was the friendship of Lorelai and her because they don't force it. It's not
Lorelai
quick.
and her,
Rory.
Rory's
Lorelai's
her
real name is
name.
Lorelai.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Oh yeah, because everyone
Lorelai
calls her that.
Jr.?
That's what you meant.
I'm not gonna lie,
Lorelai
Lorelai was on my list of baby names.
Okay, so check it.
It's a cute little name.
It's a cute name.
Check it. I was like, I saw an episode and I was like, okay, they're friends now. But then they're not. Like, it takes a while. They
They're
slowly
friends until
bring
Paris
it in.
freaks out again.
Well, but she's jealous. I mean, and a teenager would
But
be
also,
jealous.
she doesn't
there
know how to
was
have.
growth,
She doesn't
'cause
know how to be social.
When
know how to
Rory
be Rory's
was
friend.
the valedictorian, and like instead of flipping out on her, Paris was like congratulating her
Yeah, well, she
sincerely
learned
and
over
like.
time to be a good friend.
And when Rory got into
cool.
Harvard,
Better.
when Rory
Paris
got
was
into
the worst
Harvard
at
and
the
she
beginning.
didn't, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse.
She was-
Ooh, I would have been so pissed if I was Paris and I found out that Rory decided to go to Yale instead. Now I'm thinking about it, you know what I mean? Like, they picked two people, and Rory decides, I'm not gonna go to Harvard. I'm gonna go to Yale. And Paris is like
she got into
crying.
Harvard?
She got into Harvard and decided not to
No,
go.
she did. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and Paris is
And
like
wait.
crying and having a nervous breakdown on
On
stage
live TV.
in front of everybody because she didn't get in, and that's all she wanted was to go to Harvard. And then her
On
friend
C-SPAN.
gets it instead, and she didn't even freak out on it because I would have easily been like, I'm not talking to that girl
She
for a
did
year.
freak out.
Yeah,
She was
she
like,
did.
I mean,
she's
but-
going to
She had her
Harvard because she's a
meltdown.
virgin, and I can't go to Harvard.
But no,
'cause I
I'm saying,
had
but I'm
sex.
saying she didn't freak out on her like the way
yeah,
you would
true.
to your friend.
Well,
like,
she was too busy having a meltdown.
because if it was me and you, I'd be like, I don't think I can talk to Christina for a while.
It'd be so sour.
I would be very like petty for a little bit there.
I mean,
That's
she didn't go
that's
to
why I
school for
understand-
weeks afterwards.
That's why I understand
Yeah,
Paris.
she
too.
just stayed home and didn't talk to
No, but
anybody,
I'm saying
didn't
I'd
return
be
calls.
petty directly towards you. I graduated. We graduated high school 10 years ago. We found out about the colleges we were going to 10 years ago, and I'm still petty about the people who got into UT and then blew
dropped
it
out.
And then
when
didn't
I
go.
could have had that spot.
That's funny. I'm not competitive.
I am
enough,
Talking
don't
about,
care.
what are you talking about?
Listen,
It's a name. What is his name?
Listen, there are several people who did this, and like, you know, you do what you got to do. But I always think like it could have been me there. My whole life could be different. Who knows?
Baylor was great.
Baylor was fine. Okay, but we're not gonna get into that. That's not a husband.
Speaking of,
I'm just letting you know,
Rory-
I'm just like Paris in this regard.
Speaking of, when
Okay,
Rory
okay.
chose to go
You're
to Yale,
insane.
how did they tell everyone that Rory was going to Yale? Do you
I'm going to
remember how
Yale.
they made a decision?
Just like that.
Kirk made T-shirts that said Rory is going
Oh
to Yale.
yeah.
I love that.
She's too
They
good at
reached out
arguing.
her
She's
Oh
really
yeah.
good at
You're too good.
I'm just gonna sit here.
It's funny because I'm not competitive at all, and I don't even know if Kirk's the best. But I chose him, and I'm
But
going
it doesn't
for
even
it.
matter because your
Yeah.
argument,
Just
yeah,
wait.
it's like it doesn't
So
matter.
easily, I was like, "Oh, Kirk is
But
clearly
also-
not the best." But
I
you're
just-
making a good argument.
Well, and when I rewatched it,
I won't vote for you,
when I
but-
rewatched it, every time he came on, and you don't even notice it. Like if you go back and rewatch, just find any episode because he's in almost all of them, and just rewatch it. There's like these little Kirk moments, like when Lorelai comes in to tell someone that she's engaged. Kirk is
That's
sitting
what I
there,
thought she
and Luke. Nobody else can see me. You don't have to make fun of my motion.
Physical comedy.
I thought you meant the whoa. I thought you would.
Anyways, Luke like spills coffee on him, and so she's all freaking out. But in the background, Kirk is just muttering about how he's all damp from the coffee and just
Yeah.
keeps going on and on. Like he's in all these background moments that
Yeah,
just you don't
he's-
even notice.
Yeah.
But then when you zoom in,
Like
you're like,
the
oh,
paychecks.
that's funny.
He's
I like him.
He's quirky, that's for sure.
I mean, he ruins Lorelai and Luke's first kiss by running through them naked, screaming.
It's memorable.
I mean, it needed to be ruined.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Luke and Lorelai don't need
Why
to
do
be
you
kissing
hate Lorelai
Who?
and Luke?
because they're
Because
brother
Lorelai
and sister.
used him.
False.
They are so brother and sister. Their relationship is very like
She treated him like a brother.
yeah. She treats him like a brother, and then they
He-
argue like siblings.
she was always like low key flirting with him.
But here's the thing.
Bullcrap.
Yeah, exactly. That's like
Don't do that
teasing.
crap.
It was I don't
It's-
know
it was
because
teasing.
the whole show we're supposed to like root for
guys
them
are
to
two
be
of my
together,
haters.
and then they got together and we're like,
But here's the
Is this
thing.
what we
I was
wanted,
excited
though?
that they were
I
think-
but that was the purpose of it. Like we wanted
Exactly.
to root
I
for them to be
rooted-
together, but when they got together, we're like, I
I
don't
think
really
it was
know
back when
if this
TV
is what I
shows
actually
thought you
want.
had to have like two characters
love
together
interest.
because they honestly like he's so cynical and she's not, and they argued all the time. Like he hates literally everything
I don't
that
feel
she
like he's
likes.
as grumpy as you think he is.
No, he is.
He's grumpy.
He's very
He's
grumpy.
grumpy.
Like she'll sit there
He's
and be
grumpy
like,
at Taylor.
this, and he's like, that's ugh.
But she's
I don't even want to
grumpy
talk
too.
about this.
I don't remember that
Like
episode.
that.
And and then she does
She
stuff.
sabotages a relationship.
She does stuff intentionally
Which
to
one?
bother.
What?
Well, first of all, Christopher and
Okay, Christopher's the worst. If we're talking about worst characters,
No.
Christopher is bad
Is he
for
the
sure.
guy who got her pregnant?
yes.
Okay.
Tell me what.
And then he
story.
disappears forever in Rory's life.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
And then every-
But they say that it's because she
didn't wanna marry him.
she didn't want to marry him. She wanted to raise. She said she wanted to raise Rory by
Just
herself.
because she didn't want to marry him doesn't mean that he can't still be a father
She
and
said
be in
she
Rory's life.
wanted to raise Rory by herself.
But
I
she
don't feel like
is.
that's true.
He is in her life,
Yeah.
on
Vaguely.
phone calls a little.
That's what the
Dude
agreement
just
was.
left.
Yeah.
He
But
was
that was the
like,
agreement
I
was.
still have a good life in my life.
But
like,
then he
let me
tells her
live it.
he's getting married, and she goes, "I still love you." I think, and it's like,
Yeah, when she
I
did
think-
that. Yeah, when she did that, I was like,
when
And
he
she
was getting
sabotaged
married,
it. But that goes back to her still being a teenager.
That's
Yes.
true.
That's a teenage type
I-
stuff.
he
I-
told
I
her,
hate
But
her.
Christopher's
he
the
was
worst.
getting married to
Sherry?
But before he
But because he led her on and they were like having a relationship.
well, because he had gone back to Lorelai and he was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come and I'm gonna be with you and I'm gonna take
no,
care
this
of
was
Rory.
before.
blah, blah, blah.
No, this was before the marrying
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
This was before, because the one you're talking about is whenever he finds out she's pregnant.
Yeah, and then he just
but
bounces
this
again.
happens again earlier where he's like, listen, I'm really happy. I think we're going to move in together, blah, blah, blah.
And Lorelai
And she was like, you know, this whole time I've actually been wondering what's going on. And I think it's because I'm in love with you.
Well, because
Yeah,
he
she
didn't
just-
lead with the fact that Sherry was even in his life. He like
it's making me
stayed
so mad.
for
Yeah.
a long time,
But
and
he
then
wasn't
finally he's
flirt-
like,
but
"Oh,
he
I gotta
wasn't-
get back to Sherry." And she's
But he
like,
wasn't
there's a
flirting with her
Sherry.
either. And that's the thing, though. Like, they can just co-parent.
I-
Scott and Courtney do it all the time, and they're doing fine.
Yes, let's please all mirror
cannot
our
comment
life
on
after the
that.
Kardashians.
Wait, what'd you say? What did I say?
But also, I think that you would always probably still have like that little fondness with your baby daddy,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
Especially like
But
Yeah.
don't drop that on him when he's talking
Yeah.
about, I'm about to move in.
You don't have to
It's
share
Lorelai.
everything.
Right.
Just 'cause it's convenient for you.
Lorelai.
She's selfish.
But then, and
But
then
that
of
doesn't
course,
make Christopher not the worst.
yeah, she's
and
also
then, but
privileged.
then obviously he does leave whenever he's like, yeah, I'm gonna come back and be a family. But he goes back because he wants to be a part of the whole having a baby and doing the stuff he didn't get to do, which it's almost it sounds unfair, but the thing is Lorelai already said she didn't let Christopher get as close to them when they were younger. She ran away from everybody,
I know,
and
but that's
he
not
now
even
wants
the
to
most.
have a baby and have a child. Like, he's actually doing the right thing in this situation by going to this person who's having a
Yeah,
baby.
and I
But
think
maybe he
Emily- I
shouldn't
think
have,
Emily
like-
gets
No,
mad.
Emily gets mad.
She gets
Yeah,
mad at
she gets mad.
Lorelai.
She's like, that could have been you.
She does. Yep.
Well, yeah,
does
she
say
gets
that.
mad at Lorelai, but she also
Yes.
is like, Chris is
Chill out, girl.
because and he proposed to Lorelai and asked her to marry him when she got pregnant, and she said no. But
They were 16.
yeah, for sure,
They should not have.
for sure,
Yeah,
they
they
shouldn't have gotten married.
And
But
I'm
I'm saying he
fine.
tried.
I'm fine with him going back to Sherry when he finds out she's pregnant, but he shouldn't have been like sleeping with Lorelai when he had like either. I don't even think he had broken up with Sherry yet.
They were broken up.
Because at the wedding she was like, "Oh, is that Sherry? Are you gonna go home and end it?" And she had just
Well,
called
Sherry
and said,
Sherry at the baby shower, or wait,
"No,
yeah.
this is at Suki's wedding."
No, I know, but
Yeah.
at the baby shower though, Sherry tells Lorelai like, "Yeah, we were done," like, and he came back.
Right.
Like she was like, "Yeah, we were getting stuff out of this apartment. They were breaking up, like in the process of it."
Still,
Yikes.
too much.
Because
too
she
much
was
over
like,
that.
she
You
was
could have
like,
saved a lot of
she said
heartache.
she wasn't going to tell
A
him
lot of
because they were
relationship
broken
overlap.
up.
Both Lorelai's.
Well, and then I'm mad
are
that they
cheating
got
on their
married in
guys
the
all the time.
7th
That's
season.
so true.
That was dumb.
She does
hated
get married.
Yeah, to Christopher, and he like pressures
That's
her
what I
into
thought.
it. And then like a couple episodes
And then
later,
they
they're
get
like, "Well,
divorced.
this was dumb," and then they broke up. And I was like, "You just wasted 7 seasons."
Lorelai.
Lorelai and
They
Christopher.
did
That's
get married,
it.
huh?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Man, I wish
So
I'd gone further in
stupid.
my rewatch.
You guys watch Gilmore Girls.
Yes, I've seen it multiple
I've seen
times,
it
and I'm just
one
like,
I've seen it
all the
one
way
time.
through.
I mentioned Dave, and
Emily-
you're like, "Who's Dave?" And I was like,
Dave
Emily
Rogowski.
honestly-
Dave Rogowski is the cutest little
yeah, he's
boyfriend
the
of
guitar
Lane.
player.
It's not
for
worth
Lane.
remembering. He's
Adam
in like
Brody.
7 episodes.
No, he's not. He's in this
adorable.
entire season.
Thank
Honestly,
you.
He
Is
gets
that the
approval from
No,
Mrs.
that's
Kim to take her to the prom.
Honestly, like
He's
I
the
said,
OC
Lane's
guy?
storylines, I'm
Are
just
you
like,
too little to know the OC?
I love those.
No,
the
he
same
knows.
age as them.
Okay.
You know,
I but
I'm a grown up.
Oh my gosh, no. You know what song from OC we all
Barely,
remember? First of all,
barely.
it's like California, that song, but then the other one.
They play a lot of Imogen
What the hell is going
Imogen Heap.
Yeah, oh my gosh. You remember that song? What you
Yeah.
say? That was like a huge OC
SNL.
moment.
SNL did the
Yes.
digital short. They made
Oh, it was so good. That's like when one of the main characters dies.
Anyways,
Yep.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like the side
Andy
characters.
Samberg, Shia LaBeouf. And
Okay, anyways, we gotta get
Yeah,
back on
back
the girl.
It's really funny.
I'm so sorry.
It's one of my favorite digital
like,
shorts.
We were having a whole side combo, and then like you just wanted to get your one little piece in, but like, oh, we don't have time. You just do not have time.
Yeah, I am Luke, and y'all are the. Gilmore Girls.
Sometimes you do give off Luke vibes.
You just said you hated Luke. I'm not gonna disrupt this marriage. So Suki is adorable.
Yes.
And I love everything about Suki.
Luke is really grumpy.
She's like a little much. She's a little too.
When is she too much?
She is
She
She's not shitty to people.
Yeah, she is.
I'm never disappointed. I'm never disappointed in Suki.
Out of all the characters, she is the sweetest.
She's getting
Thank
used.
you.
She's getting used by Lorelai.
She's talented.
Definitely getting used, but
How's she getting used?
I mean,
Lorelai's not as good as friend.
That one example, she made her cake and all that
But
stuff.
then also,
and then gives her a call and
so
then,
the episode,
okay.
the episode that I just watched is like, I don't know, they're having some like, so Suki was supposed
Tell me
to
and
do
I'll tell
something with the dragonfly. Suki was supposed to do something.
Be there to get the sink from France.
Yes, and
I'm
Suki,
sorry,
and
it's
Suki,
embarrassing.
no, and
Yeah,
Suki
it's
wasn't
good
able
for
to be
you.
there because
Because she
Suki
had
has
a
a newborn baby.
I know.
Suki was, and I
titles.
get it. Like obviously, we know newborn babies cannot be your only excuse for not getting your stuff done.
But they are a really good excuse, and you should use them as much as you can.
But also, Lorelai was getting her hair done in contrast.
Yeah.
So it's like,
That's
you
fair.
weren't
She
really
got
doing
mad.
something. And so she comes over, storms over with wet hair, and starts yelling at Suki in Suki's house. In the same,
but it's like if you had time to go over there and yell at her, why don't you just
I
look
say
at the sink?
Suki.
But then in that same episode, Lorelai, the contractor's like, hey, listen, I don't know if the checks aren't going through, but we're not getting paid.
because they were paying Tom.
And Suki's like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, and Laura's like, just go over there. Like, she's a child. She's like, just go over there. Like, don't worry about it. And then you find out Lorelai has not been paying this dude and not telling her business partner.
Yeah.
But, and in that moment, Suki could have
boy.
easily
She
have been
shits
like,
on her a
Suki could have
lot.
easily been like, you need to get it together, lady. Like, what is wrong with you? But instead, she's like, you're right. We'll figure it out. Let's not worry. Like, she's so understanding.
Even early on, like before Suki gets married, Lorelai's like telling her relationship problem or something, and Suki tries to give input, and she's like, well, you don't know, when's the last time you've been in a relationship?
Ooh, yeah, when she did that, I was like,
Lorelai's been
Suki
okay, right.
instantly
Lorelai's
forgave
not
her.
treated Suki well.
Instantly.
No.
She didn't like go off on her or
Suki's
anything.
a
She's like,
punching
no,
bag,
you're
man.
going through a rough
She's a punching
time,
bag.
blah, blah,
And
blah,
that's
instead of
also-
just like,
But
Indicative of the
her
time
point is the fact that she was
So
a loyal
true.
friend.
Those
And
types of
this
characters.
speaks.
So
I mean, it
Ride or
speaks
die.
poorly of Lorelai, but it also speaks really well of Suki.
yeah, I mean, well, we all know Lorelai's trash though, so it's not
the main
it's not news
character
there.
of the show.
This is the
Oh,
episode's called.
thanks, she's a
Why
lot.
Lorelai is trash. Not that our character is the best. Why Lorelai is
Absolutely.
trash.
Was I don't know if I was talking on like the group message or you, but I feel like, you know, when you can like rag on your own sister all day long, but then somebody comes in and rags on your sister and you get all defensive.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Gilmore Girls. Like I can say negative things, but as soon as you guys started, I'm like, no, stop. Lorelai's not trash.
Yeah.
She's brought herself up by her bootstraps. Like
So-
she's a great worker. She whatever.
We'll be right back after a tourism ad from a place called Stars Hollow, Connecticut. What if I told you that there was a place free from divisive politics, global pandemics, and Kardashians? La 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 la. Would you believe that it was here on Earth? Would you believe that it's in a quaint suburb of Connecticut, less than an hour away from wherever you happen to be right now? La 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 la. It's the perfect place to experience colonial traditions, white people stuff. At Stars Hollow, you'll get to sleep, eat, and shop at businesses that are family-owned and have been around for generations. Elegance. Whether it's a cozy winter, a colorful fall, or a nice sunny summer day, every season's perfect at Stars Hollow. La 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 la. It's the perfect place to stay for a week, but don't stay any longer. After the first week in Stars Hollow, you'll be invited to attend a blood ritual in which you swear your devotion to all Lorelai Gilmores under the watchful eyes of the demon god Bethal. Soul bonding. Stars Hollow. When you're there, you're family.
Because
No.
I get upset several times when Lorelai's in it.
saying-
I get upset with Logan. I wish Logan was less
But there's-
crappy.
I get upset with Dean.
There's different.
Dean's
Dean is so
It's
like
the dynamic though, because
like-
Dean's supposed to be like the best,
boyfriend,
boyfriend
but he seems
ever.
All right, who's the
I just
best
get
guy
the
on
feeling
the
if
show?
they like got
Kirk.
married.
Max.
Kirk.
Kirk Max?
Yeah.
Oh, Max is good.
Max handled
Because
that.
it was like,
did
here
everything
is
great.
the
Hold on.
actual perfect boyfriend. And
No,
this
but he totally
whole
pressured
thing.
her into like
He
marrying
absolutely
him.
did.
That was
In a
not
really
good.
weird way,
I
like,
don't know that part.
we're getting into a fight, marry me.
And then she's like, "That's not how you do it." So he did the exact thing that she said.
But he
And-
wasn't there. That was what
Yeah,
blew
that's
my
weird,
mind.
too.
It's like you can't just he
Yeah.
sent her flowers
Also,
and then
who
called
delivered
her.
the 1,000 yellow daisies? Kirk Gleason.
But she did him dirty.
That's true. He is the
She
town.
did, and then when he came back, I don't know if you got this
convincing
far.
you, dude.
He
I love
comes
it.
back, and
I'm not gonna
he's
change.
like trying to keep his distance, and she goes looking for him. Like they kiss at some point, and he's like, "We need to keep our
Yes.
space," and
No,
she's
yes.
like,
Yes.
"What? You're never gonna date anybody again?" Blah, blah. Like,
She came after him.
it's like, why?
did.
You
Here's the
don't
thing.
want to marry him. Leave him alone.
She's very narcissistic, so she likes attention. And if
needs
she is
attention.
not getting the attention, then she's just
Fine,
like,
we've
"What's
agreed,
wrong?
Lorelai
What's
sucks."
happening?"
Yeah.
Well, and also
made the
Okay, but let me say some positives about Lorelai.
Okay, go.
Her hair always looks cute.
Oh, no.
Hair always looks cute. Her outfits are pretty cute.
She's so fun.
Is she a better
She's
mom
very
in
smart.
Parenthood?
Very smart.
I think she's a better mom
honestly
in
is
Gilmore
the
Girls than
exact same
Parenthood.
mom in both shows.
She
to
really
me.
is really similar.
She's the exact
She's
same
similar.
character.
Very
like,
similar.
I mean, she sleeps with her daughter's teacher in both
yep,
shows.
in both shows. Yep.
I'm glad you said
I like
teacher.
that one more, though.
You held on to daughter a little bit too long. The apostrophe S. and
Okay, here's
teacher
a
came
better
little
question.
late.
A better question. Would you be friends? Because we're all close to that age now.
I know.
Would you be friends? Well,
She's so
season
good.
Season one though. Would you be friends with her? Like, if she was like, "Hey, let's go out."
I'd be
for-"
friends with Suki.
If she was like, "Hey, let's go out for dinner and
Thank
drinks,"
you.
would you go?
no.
Hell yes, I would go. I would absolutely be like, "Girl, let's go. Let's do this," because she might be fun.
She's fun, she's
but then if she
witty.
starts getting like problematic, then I'd be like, "Oh, Jonathan, I'm hanging out with this girl and she's just such a hot mess. Like, I'm never hanging out with her again." Like,
Yes. She,
So, yeah.
she
Yeah,
picked
those
up
are
her
real
phone.
moments.
Yeah.
Those are real moments. She's had.
She was pantomiming a text message.
gosh, I've been talking so poorly about her, but maybe I could set her straight.
There you go. She
No, you're
just
like,
needs a
Suki,
little help.
you wanna fix
That's
her.
true. Suki tried to
Now,
fix her.
now you're
so
like all of her
okay.
friends who are trying to help
She
her
did
and
do a
make her
good job.
better.
I could be like,
And she just
Lorelai,
trashes
uses
all of
them.
them. Shits on
Lorelai,
them.
don't wake
The
up your
town.
daughter
But
in the
she
middle
does
of the
nice
night.
things too.
Like what?
She helped throw Lane a baby shower when Rory was being dumb and doing stuff in New York.
That's
She
not making the
I
one
can't
thing
remember.
in
I
all
got it.
seven seasons.
Can I say, there was a moment where
She was there for Cinnamon's wake.
I was watching like every
When the
episode of
cat
Erica,
died.
and then there was a moment where I was like, I don't need to watch every one of them anymore. And
they're all-
it was the moment where Rory goes to Max at school, and she's like,
I
tears in her
almost cried,
eyes,
yeah.
and telling Max
I
like,
wish you were my stepfather.
I wish you would have been my father. And he's like, yeah, I wish I could have been your father too. And at that moment, I was so upset because I was like, this woman, Lorelai, like doing this to her daughter, like, and
it
also,
sucks.
it's
Why
really-
would you
and
put her in that position again?
She
yeah,
does
and I was like, I
love
don't want
Rory.
to watch
She
this. I don't
just-
because Breaking Bad. I'll watch Walter
Lorelai
White,
loves Rory. She just
Of course she does.
but she's
she just
just
can't
dumb.
control
Yeah.
her.
She
But she's
Selfish.
mostly
But that's
talking
the
to
thing.
boys.
She's
No,
selfish.
she's
Like, if
no,
that's
she
her problem.
she
Her
absolutely
relationships
loves
are
Rory.
dumb.
But I'll watch Walter White because I want to see him get his comeuppance. But this is a comedy, so like every episode is just Lorelai having fun and being goofy, and I'm like, I can't watch you. You're a jerk. I don't want to watch you have fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't like you.
You know,
And
it's
then
not a jerk.
even when,
I'm not that
when
jerk.
Max comes back, like, the first thing she does is go and tell Rory, and I'm like, why would you go and tell this kid after you already broke her heart the first
But that's
time? And
because
then you're
she-
like,
I think
she doesn't have anybody to
Here's
talk
the thing.
to.
I think their
or-
mother-daughter relationship is really cute, and like that's one of the reasons why I liked watching it before I had kids, because I was like, oh, this is so cute. But realistically, there has to be
like
more of a,
unhealthy.
there has
We
to be
don't
more of
want
a
realistically
mother-daughter
as far as-
relationship there to make all of the stuff happen.
But it's because
she
the way
treats
she
her,
did
she
that.
treats her like she's her friend, and that's why Rory like has this like. I think that's why Rory likes to go to Emily's house, because she wants some sort of structure. Because like kids want it at some point in their lives, and Emily's always, or Lorelai's always just like.
But
all the
Lorelai's
time.
that way because Emily was not that way at all. Like
I
she
know.
was
There's gotta be a
not
balance.
gonna be. Yeah, there's gotta be a balance.
Yeah, I think.
Also, we've not talked about Jess at all. I want to know y'all feelings. Who's Jess? Get out of this podcast if you do not know who Jess is.
I know.
You
I
need to
remember
leave.
now. I was thinking a girl.
Wait, Jess is the
Jess
boy.
Mariano.
Yeah. I
Milo,
love
like when I was in middle school,
somebody.
the dad and
I thought
This
he was
Is Us.
so cute.
Oh, he
When I was in middle
I
school.
still think he's cute.
Even on,
He
he's
is
on
cute.
This Is Us now,
He's
and I'm
still
like, yeah, you
I
guys
love
look at
him.
it.
Who could Tree Hill guy on the show too? Didn't
Ew.
Yeah,
no.
Tristan.
Yeah.
Oh my
Chad
gosh, I
Michael
forgot
Murray.
all
Chad
about
Michael
him.
Murray.
Chad Michael
Four,
Murray.
three
He was
first
not
names.
trash.
Murray's last name.
Chad Michael.
His head, Chad Michael Murray's head kind of
It's 'cause
reminds me
his
of a
hair's so
baby
fluffy.
duck. Yeah, it like baby duck, like molting hairs.
You
Yeah.
derailed my Jess conversation.
Oh,
Sorry,
I'm
but
sorry.
Jess. No, it's
No.
him. He's fine.
Megan's not talking a lot, but she's making a lot of facial expressions. Just want to let y'all know. If y'all could see it, you'd be impressed.
I want to know what you think about Jess.
I thought Jess was really great in the beginning, and then at some point we're like,
Once they start dating.
I guess.
Yeah, he was a POS when they started.
I've only seen the whole thing one time, and I only got to
manipulative. He's manipulative.
episode 7
Very
of
manipulative.
the first season, so I don't really remember
It's a teenage
just too
boy
much.
who liked a girl. It's just what they do.
But at a certain
No, it's true.
point, like when they reconnected in like seasons 5 or something.
Yeah,
I'm
Jess
trying to
is,
get there
okay,
right
but
now.
Jess
He just
is the
left.
best. He left. He sucked because he left.
Just like, I'm not going to say anything.
But
I'm
if
gonna
we're
leave
doing the whole blame
after
your
this
parents
whole-
thing,
Yeah, he's
he's
had
got that
bad
card
parenting.
really good.
Yeah,
This show is
My
about
favorite
parenting.
thing about
It really
Jess, though,
is.
is when Rory goes off the rails and is a dum-dum and leaves Yale and is living in her parents' house and being stupid and dating Logan, who sucks. He's the one who comes back and is like, "This isn't you, Rory. This
Yeah.
is," and that's what changed the whole thing. Like that's got
Yeah.
her back to stop
True.
sucking
He
so
did.
hard.
That's good.
I don't know.
Man,
I
you're
love
just
Jess.
making me
I-
I'm so sad that I didn't finish this reel.
Oh, we're gonna keep going.
Continue. No,
We're gonna keep
100%
going.
Still
keep
on
going.
Netflix.
You know what's
can
funny
watch
is
it.
a lot of people tell me when they listen to the podcast that
Yeah, I
they
love it.
like Sebastian reread all the Harry Potter books after he heard the Harry Potter episode.
I rewatched Community. I told you I started rewatching
I'm trying
Community.
to rewatch Community because I just heard the podcast of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Oh.
it derailed my
Yeah,
Gilmore
you did
Girls
finish it?
recap because I was
I didn't
rewatching
watch the
Community.
Hulu's.
Me and
Or the
Megan,
Yahoo
me and Megan
season.
were like OG Community buddies. Like we used to talk about
Watch
Community
it,
all the
yeah.
time. We were watching when it was
Real
coming out.
time.
Yeah.
Cute.
It's good.
Where are you watching Community? Do you have like?
It's on Hulu.
On Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
No, it's on Hulu. I steal my sister's Hulu. Shout out to my sister who gave me.
I use-
And shout out to
my
our
mom.
provider for that Netflix account.
Everyone, shout out your subscribers.
Ain't nobody paying for anything.
I steal my dad's HBO and my sister's
Oh yeah,
Hulu.
my mom's HBO, Hulu.
We have our own
My
Disney
mom has
Plus
it all.
though, so
Yeah, we have our own Disney Plus. That's
We're growing
necessary.
up.
Hey, we're adults, okay? We have our own Disney Plus.
We're grown
All right.
Okay, wait, Jess. I thought his relationship with Rory was so necessary to the show because
It was good, yeah.
the whole like Dean,
Everyone needs
like
a bad boy.
perfect, yeah, like
Yeah,
she
he
needed
was-
somebody to tempt her to be somebody different than she was, and I liked
He
it.
wasn't really too much of a bad boy.
He
Logan was the bad boy.
I think
Logan was a
Jess-
rich white boy.
Rich, yeah,
But
he
he
was
was-
privileged.
Who's
He
the
was
best boy on the
Very
show? Who's the
privileged.
best guy or male?
Out of the three,
Perk.
or out of the
Please.
four.
And he said,
I mean, out of the boyfriend.
Best boyfriends.
Yeah.
I think Luke was a. I mean, Luke
I
sucked
thought we were
a
talking
little
about Rory.
because of. But okay, the only reason Luke sucked as a
tried.
boyfriend is because he got like a daughter out of the blue.
yeah.
Like that's gonna mess you up a little bit. I think he handled it poorly.
Okay, what would y'all
but he
do?
didn't
Yeah.
really have a chance.
So say you've been dating some guy for a long. Well, they weren't dating for that long, right?
they were dating. Yeah, they
But
were
they knew
dating
each
a
other
while.
for
They were
a
already
very long
engaged
time.
at this point.
Oh,
They were engaged.
Say
They got
you were
engaged right
engaged
before.
to whoever you're married to right now or dating, and then all of a sudden he pops up with who's an 8-year-old. Do you stay?
But I haven't been dating him for 8 years.
Yeah.
I feel like that makes it a difference.
Okay,
timeline.
However
He's
long
been
they've
dating for a long
so
time.
let's say they've been dating for like, y'all know y'all
First
been dating
of
for a
all-
year and a half, and then you find out he's an
Oh.
8-year-old.
It
Yeah.
depends though. Like, did he know this whole time? Like
Right.
Luke didn't know.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
So,
saying.
like,
He
he's
doesn't
not
know.
hiding
for
it.
3 months.
That's what I'm saying. Though he
2
did
months
say
or
That's a
something.
problem.
But
You're not gonna be
still-
honest and upfront
Well,
about
you're
it.
not going to be honest in the first 3 months because you don't know if that kid's yours. Paternity
Gotta
tests
get
take
that
a
paternity
long
test,
time.
But he never even did that. He
Do
just
they?
trusted her.
he had to go
That
on
sounds like
Mari.
overnight
He went on
I
process.
Mari.
think back in the day, I think back then they did, and now you could probably literally
Well,
just do
did.
it in the mail and I'll
premise
get
is
the
she
results
figured it
tomorrow.
out from her science test. Her
They did a
science
crossover
project.
Mari episode where
Stop it.
Gilmore
more
Girls
talking.
Mari special.
course.
So anyways, I think Luke's the best boyfriend.
Best, I think he's the best.
Maybe
male
Well, and I
character.
mean, honestly, he, I mean, even when they weren't together, he always took care of Lorelai and Rory. He did special things for Rory. Okay?
That's
He
why I
was
felt
there
like he was like a
graduation.
family. Like he was
Yeah.
like an uncle. Like he's like a family figure. Like it's not necessarily like, oh, that's my dad. It's like, oh, that's my uncle helping me move in, or that's my mom. Like they were like brother and sister moving in.
Also, Jackson is great.
Ew, I cannot stand
Hickey's
Jackson.
husband.
He's
I
another
don't
person that could just like, let's go from love.
He's just-
He's
lame.
too
Why do you gotta fight
spazzy
him?
for
He's
me.
lame.
I just hate everybody.
I like
so
to fight.
much. You
He's
are.
scary.
I'm wrong. You are.
Paris and Luke.
No, Jackson's so annoying, and his voice is so like weaselly,
Yeah, I
and
don't
he
like that guy.
complains
I got-
so much.
Yes.
Every
When
episode that
Suki's
he's on, he's
pregnant.
whining about something.
Oh,
that's
Suki's
when he-
excited
this is all
about being
freaked out.
pregnant,
That's
and then
true.
he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna cost money," and like spazzing about.
I don't want to know the
everything.
baby's gender.
Oh boy.
That's where I'm
But
at
you
now.
wanted
That's
4
true.
children in 4 years.
Yeah,
and now
I
you're
know.
gonna have one, and you're freaking out about it. Like obviously, freak
Don't
out's
give me
fine, but
baby.
He didn't tell her like he was happy or congratulations until like weeks.
He did.
Like
I
a
think
week
boys
later.
just like don't know how to handle things is what I'm deciding.
I agree.
Like Luke couldn't handle finding out he has a
always on
kid.
this
shit.
Des couldn't handle the fact that his dad came back. They just like can't handle it.
Yeah.
So fun fact.
I'm better than any
Dean's
guy on
just
that
The
show.
episode where Jess goes to California and you get to watch him in California was apparently going to be a spinoff. Yes, and I was like, thank goodness it wasn't because I fast forwarded through all of that. No, Jess.
No,
Oh,
I
Jess.
still
Oh, that
fast
guy-
forward
that
through
guy's
all
I
of
was
it.
like,
Even
Supernatural.
I love it, and I still fast
It
forward
was.
through it.
I was just like, I don't need
care.
this. This
Don't
is
care.
not relevant to anything.
Also, side note, the lady who played I don't verify this, but in my brain this is true. The lady who played Jess's dad's girlfriend. Also same lady who played Luke's daughter's mom.
Interesting.
Follow that. She just has a like blonde wig in one and then
Wow.
I IMDb
No,
it.
I
I'm
feel like
90%
you're right.
sure
I feel
that's
like
true.
you're right.
Okay. We got to get to this part of the show, which is categories. So I do want y'all to think about character-wise. Who is the character that like makes the most sense, shows growth, like is a realistic person, like doesn't feel like somebody like written on a page. Like I think all the characters in the show are really.
All of them are pretty good.
I think they're
pretty well
realistic.
written.
I don't know who I would pick. Out of these, what Suki?
Out of these four,
Who would you say?
well, out of
Emily?
all of them, Kirk would be the only one to be like
plot
oh,
device. Like
I think
He's
Kirk,
not
The
super
balloon's
real.
going up.
Kirk and
He's not
Suki are
super
probably
real.
more plot device, and then
There's Don't
you know my girl?
Paris. And I would say
Emily.
Emily probably has the most like backstory and like,
Structure.
but she doesn't have a lot of growth, or she does have a little bit of growth.
She doesn't
I
have
feel
a-
like she grows, or at least you peel back the onion a little bit and you see more layers.
But Paris
of
has a
her.
good
That's
backstory
true.
too. Actually, I was thinking she's got like
They both do.
We
They're
know
like the
neglect and all that
toughest
stuff.
characters. Where at first you're like, I can't stand them. They're the worst. They're so
You
mean.
learn about them.
Why are they being so mean to our best characters, Lorelai and Rory? But actuality, as you keep watching, you realize it's reversed.
Did y'all watch
That
How to
they're
Get
the
Away with
trash
Murder?
and we're the best.
No.
Paris is
Yes,
in
I
it.
did.
Yeah. That's all.
Okay,
She was in Miss Maisel
so
just recently.
so Paris and Emily are probably the most realistic characters, like three-dimensional characters.
But I really feel like if Paris was real, she would like grow up a little. Like she's even in like the last season.
Well, she did get a therapist, and I feel like that takes a
true.
lot of
She
growth. She got a
did.
therapist and a life coach.
out of those two, I think
true.
Emily would be more realistic,
More
just because she's like
yeah.
older,
A product
and,
of
like,
her time.
a product of her time, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas Paris, I mean, she's a product of like her environment, and, like her parents, but like
but she would have
she
changed based
sticks
off
with
of
the
this.
spaz too hard.
Yeah. She would have
guess.
changed
Yeah,
based off
no,
of
that's
like
true.
being in our society where we are now as people.
I just realized Paris has her own parenting situation.
Yeah.
It's all about parenting, but also all these kids are screwed up. So maybe there's like this show's saying there's no right way to do it.
That's what I was telling her
Oh,
earlier.
no.
No matter what you do, you're gonna screw your kid's gonna be a little bit screwed up.
I
Even
thought
when
it
they're
was
like
the right
the
way.
perfect princess like Rory, she still sleeps with a married man. And
Yeah,
she
that
does.
sucks.
she also is cheating.
But we
She's also
said it's her
cheating
mom.
on her boyfriend.
It's her mom, though.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
but still, yeah, that's what I'm saying. No matter what you do, you think you can do all
So we
these
just gotta
things
learn
right.
our flaws. We pass our flaws on to our kids, and we need to be
Obviously.
careful and watch
And
it.
the thing is no matter how well we parent our kids, we're gonna be screwed up some way. So.
At least a little bit.
All right, is the
Yeah, a
show
little
a
bit.
comedy, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a
I
comedy.
think it's like dramedy.
It's a heartfelt
Alright.
drama.
Who's the funniest character then? Who's the character? We don't. Emily is not the
Gleason.
funniest. Emily does. There are funny moments.
I like when you add the last name too.
She says several funny things.
She does.
like
Well,
it
there's
She says
Yeah.
a lot of funny things.
Humor's subjective.
I like
Yes.
Which character do
I
you
feel
laugh
like
at? Which one do you
Kirk
laugh at the most?
makes me actually laugh.
Okay.
Or at least, I don't know. I'm really stuck to that dance episode. But I feel like overall, like the other characters, it's from their conversations
Yeah.
that they're having
Yeah.
with other people, not like
So
one
who brings
specific
us the
one.
most laughter?
But Kirk just individually is just.
I've never-
Individually, he
I've
is
never laughed
really
watching the
funny.
show.
Really?
But-
Watch it again and pay
But my
attention to
humor's
Kirk.
really, really selective.
Let's get a
A
super
lot
cut
of
Kurt
it takes a
every-
lot.
No, there is. I watched one. It was
Oh,
amazing.
no.
Like here's the thing: if you had a huge bubble, it's like one small bubble.
So you don't
like
watch it for the comedy.
Yeah, no, I don't watch it for
No.
the comedy. I watch it for like the relationships. I like to watch like relationships.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
okay.
fair.
If it's about relationships, then whose relationship do we care about the most?
Lorelai
Honestly,
Rory.
yeah, I really think the
Lorelai
Gilmore
Rory.
Think they
Girls.
suck.
Well, they're not even one of
I
our
like-
characters.
I
I
like
know.
Rory
But
with
we
the
do.
grandparents.
I love
true.
seeing
I
that
do.
too.
Yes.
Yeah,
I like
So
that.
Emily
I feel like
would
that
be in
relationship
that
changes and grows.
Trying to be a little sly with it.
and it's an interesting relationship too.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
But like
Lorelai
when
is
they
She gets a whole different view of
Well,
them as
of-
people than what
yeah.
Lorelai got.
Yeah,
But I
for
feel
sure.
like they really added to her demise.
I like.
Who?
Because the grandparents added to Rory's demise because when she's like, I'm gonna quit, I hate
call her.
everything, and they're
Yeah.
like, great, come in, baby.
But the
Well,
thing
they don't
Join
want-
the
They were
DAR.
burned.
They don't
Do
want her
nothing.
to run away like Lorelai ran.
I
Yeah.
know.
and
They
the thing
still
is,
want to
I think no
It's
matter
fine.
what,
I
But
mean,
Lorelai
I
tough
don't
loved
believe
her. And in the end, well, I mean, Jess fixed it, but in the end, that's what fixed it.
I also like I said before, I like Paris and Rory's relationship. I like to watch that. How
I
that,
love
how
that.
that
I
changes.
feel like
think it's cool.
I feel like it didn't never changed though. It was
They
like
became friends.
Yeah, and then they became not friends, and then
Part
they
of
became
growing
friends, and then
up,
they
yeah.
became
That's
not
real
friends.
life,
And if you decide to not be my friends, I'll be like, okay.
Ouch.
Like,
He's-
no, because if you don't like me enough to be my friend, I'm not gonna like try and be burned by you
I
like
like you, Erin.
7
I think
times
it's different
over.
than
Yeah.
we'll keep being friends.
I like you.
This
Come
age,
on.
no, but I think a high school friendship and then going to college, like drifting apart and
means
like coming
much
back together, I
more.
think that's
Yeah,
more
that's true.
normal and at that
But like
age.
even in college, when Rory accidentally became editor, she like kicked her out. Paris and Rory were living together, and Paris got mad that Rory became editor when
Here's
she
the
was
thing.
editor and kicked her out
Yeah,
again.
it goes
And I'm
back to
like,
what
come
you were saying
on.
earlier.
If I was Paris,
all competitive.
I would be so annoyed with Rory as a person all the time as well.
Then just don't be friends with her. Be
okay,
friends
but
with
hold on.
somebody
But
else.
she
Hold
doesn't
on,
have
though.
any social skills. She's latching onto the
That's
only
her fault.
form of familiarity.
Rory
that
was
she
really
has.
good to her though.
Yeah.
Early on, Rory was
Early
trying
on.
to like help her a lot.
Rory
like,
always
relationships
has.
and all that
Barely
stuff.
though, because like
No,
in the
she
very,
was there for
very,
her.
very beginning, Paris was just like, "I want to be your friend," and then Rory
Paris
was like,
was?
"No."
I don't- I
in the
always thought
very
Paris hated her.
beginning,
No, I don't think so.
Paris hated
No,
her
like
right
the very
from the start.
first.
Like they accidentally broke her project or whatever, and Rory's like, "I'll help you put it back together." And Paris is
Yeah,
like,
that's
"No,
true.
that's
Yeah,
not
Rory was trying to like with
They were
kid
always
gloves, like trying to
competitive,
handle
yeah.
her kid gloves, always trying to make her feel better and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Francie got in the way and made their relationship complicated
yeah.
again.
Who?
The little redheaded.
She was like a senior.
But she
Yeah.
wasn't even really as mad about
We don't
that.
like redheads. Hear
Paris,
that? Your favorite character
Paris
sucks.
said really though it wasn't just
Fire
about her, it was
redheads.
the fact that she told
She
Rory
told
a
her
secret and
Yeah.
Rory told that girl, and that's
That's
when she
true.
realized she couldn't trust
Butt out of our friend groups,
But here's the
redheads.
thing. I'm also on the same episode where Paris is sleeping with one of her teachers or her professor.
Oh, yeah,
and she
ew.
told Rory, and she told Rory
Pastor.
not to tell anyone, and
Oh,
Rory
yeah.
told Lane. And
Yes.
she's like,
Oh.
why did? And here's the thing: Paris didn't even get as mad as she should have been. She was like, I told you not to tell. And Rory was like, it's just Lane. She doesn't live here. And Paris was like, Lane needs to leave. Like I was expecting Paris to be a lot more aggressive and intense about it, but she was a way more level-headed. I
Maybe
mean,
she was just
because-
so
Maybe
hurt.
Rory
she couldn't
wasn't
even
a
get out
friend
how
with
she
Paris
wanted
either.
to
Yeah,
react.
I don't think Rory's really that great of a person.
All right.
No, because she
Yeah.
wasn't ever nice to Lane.
Who's
No, and she just like strings Dean along. Like, you're married, I'm gonna lose my virginity to you.
Yeah, it's
so
And
now?
oh wait, you're into me now? That's not. I don't. Well, we're not gonna do that. Like, no.
yeah, the
I don't
breakup
wanna
of
be
that
with
was
you.
so
I just-
lame.
Yeah.
So wait, was it Emily and the
Rory.
granddaughter, or was it Paris
I
and
like
Rory?
the
What do you
grandparents.
think?
grandparents and
Grandparents and Rory.
I like
Okay.
both of them a
That's the
lot.
best relationship. Who's got the best plot mainly throughout the story? Because like she was saying, like Rory, the college stuff like bores her. Like she doesn't care about the college years.
Well, it's so far her freshman year. It's
freshman
pretty
year.
boring. Yeah.
Where she meets Marty. I love Marty.
I see. I don't think I've gotten.
But like, so I guess we have to look
Naked
at our
man,
characters.
naked
That's
guy.
when she gets closer
Yeah,
with her
so,
like,
grandfather
naked guy.
too.
Is Sookie's
Yeah,
plot?
she does get-
Sookie,
Sookie's
Emily.
plot doesn't go anywhere.
What's his name?
Kirk.
Rick.
Kirk. No,
Kirk.
there's actually a scene where he introduces himself to Mrs. Kim as Kirk. He's like, Kirk, I've known you since you were 2 years old.
Yeah,
and
I
he goes,
remember that.
yeah, that doesn't mean people necessarily remember my name.
God,
Something like
it's so
that.
sad.
I know. Kirk.
Kirk was literally a different person in the first
I know
episode. He was like the cable
Mike
guy.
or something.
Yeah.
He was a DSL guy, but he.
Or, yeah,
I
DSL
talked to
guy.
I was watching when he was on Jimmy Fallon, and he said he was supposed to be a one-off like DSL guy.
Yeah.
But
Jimmy
they
Fallon
liked him.
back in the day.
I love
No,
Oh.
because they did like when they did the reboot in like 2000 and
He came.
what
was
year
recent.
is it right now?
2020.
They did the reboot.
It was like what 3 years
crazy.
ago because
Yeah.
I think Nora was like a baby. She was like
Yeah.
6
It was a
months
few
old.
years ago.
I think it was November of 2016. That's what I'm guessing
Okay.
based on how old my child
So
was in
Trump
my
was
brain.
just elected.
I don't want to talk about Trump.
Yeah, we're not talking about
November.
politics.
She said
We
November of
talked
2020.
We
2016.
talk
Yikes.
about
Gilmore
We're talking
Girls,
about Gilmore
happy
Girls.
place,
or
no
pop
politics.
culture, and that's it. Those are the only side tangents
we talk.
have.
We go to places like Stars Hollow to not think about what's going on in the
And
real
now it's
world. like Trump.
2020, and here
But
we go
anyways,
again. Round
so
2.
I was when they were doing the reboot, they had
Oh,
like
boy.
this whole
That negative
big
energy
like
here.
publicity thing for it, and people, I guess there was a whole new like fandom once it came onto Netflix. Like
Yeah, yeah.
people started watching it.
I didn't
online.
watch it until it was on Netflix.
See, like I didn't even know that was a thing. I
Yeah.
just thought everyone who loved the Gilmore Girls was my age and
honestly-
loved the Gilmore Girls
honestly-
when they
So
were
the
that young.
internet-
I watched
the internet is
reruns.
Black people didn't watch those.
Well, that
No,
makes
it-
more sense.
I
to
didn't.
me.
I did not know
let's talk
Gilmore
about-
Girls existed
it's
until
pretty
it was
white.
Talk about
on Netflix.
POCs.
It's pretty white.
Well, here's the
There's-
thing. Surprisingly,
Connecticut.
one episode I watched because that's what I
Lane.
look for. I was
Lane.
like, there are 4 black people in this barn. How? I was like, oh my gosh, there's black people on this show.
They had to get
Just
craft
Michelle.
services
But-
to come in the background.
Well, why did they put them in a barn though? That's what I don't like.
What
They
barn
all,
was
it was
it?
when they all meet up for the town hall meeting.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a barn, right?
Lane,
I think
it's
I want
the
to Miss
dance
Patty's
studio,
dance
right?
studio. know, but it looks like a barn.
Lane has an immigrant family. That's
That's
I'm
something.
glad that they have
Michelle
that.
is black and French. That's a
Oh,
two
Michelle, yeah.
Right? Doesn't that
How did we
count
not
for
talk about
something?
Michelle?
Oh.
He's my
Michelle.
least favorite character.
Michelle.
Well, no, I'm sorry. He's in the middle of
He's
in the middle.
so French. I love him.
Is
Is
French?
he really
In
French?
real
Or
life?
is he
I
a
don't know.
caricature of what we think
I don't
French
know.
people act like? Because I don't know any real
He's
French
so
people.
rude.
As I was saying, what's
It
about
makes me
good
laugh.
characters? I don't know if that guy's a good character.
No, he's not at all.
Because
good
he's
character.
almost like
I don't think
the,
he's a good
the
much
guy
of
from Little
anything.
Mermaid. What's his name? Sebastian.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
Then he's not really.
I know he's like not
Jamaican.
Yeah.
How is he like Sebastian?
I don't know.
It's
He
a voice
gives
that's put
some.
on.
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
it doesn't sound.
He's
like
like
just
a French. It sounds like a
like
fake,
somebody
like-
trying to pretend to
Yeah.
be French.
Mm-hmm.
Mon oui.
Which is gonna suck if he's really French. And I'm like trashing his voice.
I will start researching
Yeah.
now.
You're gonna hear from him.
This is a good time to start researching, right?
Yes, at the very end of the podcast. That's exactly right.
Wait,
The
say?
series ends
Oh,
with
yeah,
Rory
she's
going to
following
work
Barack
for Barack
Obama.
Obama's
That's
campaign,
true.
Very good.
which is so interesting.
It is. Because he was just a senator
Gotta have
who
that
might
white
run
savior.
for president.
Yes, it's
The only
wild.
reason he won.
But what's
Or
crazy
the only reason he won.
But what's
Gilmore.
crazy though is in the reboot you would
didn't
expect to
thank
come
her.
to go from that to come and be like, oh, I got to travel to DC, I got to do this, but
Let me
she
be
really
clear.
was
She
just
just did
like, I'm
nothing.
sleeping in
She,
Logan's
like,
bed.
She floundered. I don't want to talk about the reboot.
Okay.
I can't wait to rewatch it in text.
Are there any other categories to consider?
It'll just make me sad.
We talked about the worst for the majority of this.
The worst,
With
yeah.
Lorelai Gilmore.
That's because
But we all did
But I
agree
mean,
that
I've
Rose
seen,
was
like,
We
the
love
best,
Gilmore Girls.
right?
We
Because
love
she
Gilmore Girls. We just don't think the characters
Yeah,
are as amazing as everyone thinks they are.
Yeah.
But I really do enjoy watching the show. Even though we'll be done with this, I'm gonna still continue to watch it in secret.
Another example.
Secret? Do you like
secret.
go in your closet and watch
She
it
on her
your
phone. Yeah.
No, I just
she does
do
watch
like
it on her
this.
phone. Yeah.
Everywhere I am. Yeah, so I am gonna continue to
the
do
show overall, like, it's good. It's just the characters. Once you're like actually think about them, it's
it's
like,
like,
why are you
it's
so
just-
shitty?
It's like one of those
bad
things you
people.
zone out and
Yeah.
you come back in.
Yeah.
But
I was reading an article about why people love Gilmore Girls, and
White
it was
people?
like, why people.
But also why
All
people
they-
love
white
it.
people
It's because it feels
love
like you're looking in a mirror. Is that what
White people. It really does.
Oh. Did you grow up in Stars Hollow?
I grew up watching Rory as my, same age,
So you
same
feel
same
like-
life experiences, same thing, but no.
I was
different.
too busy working at that
Did you
age.
grow up in Arizona?
At a job.
I grew up in Arizona.
Okay, that's nice.
Well,
Stars
I grew up.
Hollow, right?
Okay, I'm gonna say this online. This makes me sad. I
Well, I
grew up
can
in
cut it
a
if you
small. I grew up in a small suburb called Ahwatukee that was nicknamed All White Tukey. Because it was not diverse at all. One of the biggest things keeping, like, one of the
Wait, but
biggest
how
things in my parenting is to try and make sure my children grow up in a more diverse
Diverse,
world.
yeah. Yeah, you live in a
Because
diverse
I'm
area.
like in my 20s and 30s realizing
You
my
realize, yeah.
white privilege for the first time in my life when I
Good
was
for
like
you.
25 years old.
But I need to know, like, how would you say that? Would you be like, yeah, all I do? Or would it be like, all I do?
I mean, you saw me. I'm shrinking away from the microphone and I'm saying. Why? I was Googling why people like Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
appreciate that pause.
And it said,
If you type in "why" on Google, it just says "Do people like Gilmore Girls?" That's it fills it in. And you just type
Just
"why."
let her talk. Let her talk. Why do
well,
people?
because you guys were hating on it so much on the messaging. I was like, why do I even like it?
Let's hear why people like.
Okay,
Gilmore
because
Girls.
it said I wrote it down. Even when Rory and Lorelai are driving you crazy, you keep watching it because the other characters bring you joy. It's like the Babette and the Miss Patty.
I literally don't care about them.
You gotta give it a little something. She's so funny.
I think it's just because of TV shows that I watch. I started watching TV before, like, when
9/11.
I decided to start watching this TV show, I was also watching things like Breaking Bad and Sex and the City. So for me,
Those are not the same.
they're not. But I think my personality is more used to those shows versus this one, where I'm like, is this Full House or what? I love Full House. Don't get me wrong. Like, I go hard for Full House, but it's also just kind of like, meh. I'm not going to tell other people they need to go and watch it.
So it's not as
no,
like
I
dark or
feel that.
dramatic as you're wanting or watching?
I guess it doesn't
not
like
dark.
a
But you just said it's not dark.
That's not what
It
it
doesn't
wants
pull any
to
emotion
be.
from me.
We just said it's not dark at all.
I feel like for me, it's like a nostalgia.
No, it's
thing.
totally
It's like I
nostalgia
didn't
for me.
watch it when it came out, but I'm telling you, 4 o'clock on I want to say like ABC
Probably the
Family.
WB. I feel like it was
think it's
WB.
ABC Family, 4 o'clock every day. So it's like I watched all the reruns. I wasn't like the same age as them, but I was
I think that's what it is. I think it's nostalgia, and I think that's what it sells nowadays is nostalgia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
well, I was
all
reading
these
an article
reviews are
about a
coming back to
woman who
back.
watched it when she was like me, like Rory's age, but then now she's watching it again, and she's Lorelai's age, and you can watch it again when you're Emily's age. You know, it always has someone
That's
you can kind of relate to in the generations.
and I think that's
If you're
what
real
makes
old,
it
you can
hard,
watch it
though.
when you're.
So Gilmore Girls, I asked on Instagram who was the best character in Gilmore
No,
Girls.
you had a bunch of haters.
I got 36 people liked the photo, but I didn't get many answers. Let me see. People aren't listening to what I ask.
One said nothing, and one said.
Yeah.
You said Mrs. Kim. Was that you?
Oh,
You
she
said no
nothing.
one?
I already told
You're
you.
my anonymous.
I already told you no one comments on things.
She's your artist.
No one comments on things. On
No, I got a lot of people on the
Like-
picture. I'm online and other ones.
Thank you for having me in your home. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Okay, Matt Sin of this podcast.
Oh,
usually,
that's that guy.
he.
I don't know any of
It's
y'all.
so funny.
Where did he go to college?
Ready to go to college?
Is that the guy you're talking to?
Okay. Full disclaimer. I was not talking about
Disclaimer. What's a disclaimer?
I was
It's a
not
fancy way
talking
to
about
say
him,
disclaimer.
but I was talking about all of the people who went to UT.
So
what did Matt say?
Matt
He
was.
said it wasn't
Matt
worth
told me
his
he was
time.
going to. He said in his words, post a like manifesto on my Instagram, like
Oh, yeah.
talking about all the things.
Like I did with Maleficent.
Wait, I have to say one last thing about Matt Sin. He is my biggest ride or die.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
I will,
Really?
I will never talk poorly about him.
Matt's in anything
He
she
is my
says. He
ride or
supports
die.
her. Yeah.
Really?
100%. Matt Sin and I have this bond
He
like
always
nobody's
supports
business,
her.
and that's why I'm not including him in that lump.
No matter what
has
Erica
seen
says,
the
he supports
show,
her.
right? He
Yes,
just
he's
hates
seen
it?
it all. He hates it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's why he's not here. He didn't watch the whole thing.
I feel like
Watch
I
from a
honestly
guy's
don't know how
perspective.
anyone else likes it unless they're like a 16-year-old
Yes.
white girl sitting at
He-
home
okay,
watching
so
a 16-year-old
he
girl.
can't-
Like, I understand why the whole world doesn't
He
like
can't
it.
get past the worst part of it. For me, I agree with him. Is the
No, it's a
dialogue.
super
The dialogue is
No, but I like
it's
it.
dizzying and it's not real. That's not how people talk.
It's
I
not
feel
real
like that's
at
how
all.
I talk to my best friend.
But-
I really do.
I
I feel like
a
once
lot
you
of
get
people talk that way.
people
too.
tell me I
Used to
talk
it.
too fast all the time.
Yeah.
The
Me
my
too.
pulp culture references, I don't feel like are super realistic.
yeah,
no
I
one
like-
can
No.
know all of those things.
No, they
Yeah,
do.
they
no,
know.
no, but a
But the thing
17-year-old
is-
girl's making references. I'm like, what are you talking
But no,
about?
it's
she
because
grew up
she's
in that
with her
girl's-
mom. She doesn't have real friends.
Yeah, they
Like
watch all
normal
those
people
movies
don't know what the
together.
They
monkeys
watch
are, but
movies,
she
like,
knows what the
every
monkeys
day.
are.
Right.
She learned
movies all the
everything from her
time.
mom, who was probably like 24, when Rory was like 10 or something.
There are things that
She's gonna
y'all-
like what you like.
Y'all
Yeah,
did not
yeah.
notice, which is there's a certain season. I think it's like season 3. They start putting a lot more like copyrighted music and stuff like that in because the show's getting more popular, and so they have money to do that.
It started to go away though.
What's his name? Christopher. He like rolls up in a car.
None of us are gonna know this reference, but go for
He
it.
rolls up in a car, and she's like, "Well, you have a car because usually you have a motorcycle." So you
Yeah.
might remember that episode.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Freaking
remember.
Rammstein is blaring in his car. It's like
Wait, did any of y'all know what Rammstein is?
Nope.
No.
Okay,
It is-
see, girls don't care about this.
But-
type
I
of
don't
stuff.
care.
okay,
What is
it's
that?
my podcast.
I'm just
though.
gonna
We
eat
gotta talk
I know,
about
I'm
marshmallows
saying,
and
but
not
I don't
care.
think anybody else
Rammstein is
will
like
know.
a German heavy metal band that
I
like
can't play it.
invite people on stage and piss on them. Like
That sounds
He
terrible.
was
That's what I'm
listening to
saying. I don't-
Rammstein, and I was like, wait a minute. Like we're watching Gilmore Girls, and I hear Rammstein.
Our faces are all disgusted.
No, I'm disgusted too. I don't like it, but I was like, is
Is that
that
a smile?
I was like, is that
Why do you know? But you know
Why are you
Do-
enjoying this so much?
Du hast. That's the
Oh,
song.
I actually do
Du
remember
hast
that.
mich. Yeah, that's the song. Like they're
Reveals
violent and
foreshadowing.
dark.
But like a big part of who Lorelai is the fact that she's like the cool one who likes the right music and watches the right movies and like
Rammstein.
knows all
Every
the things.
movie ever.
Every movie ever.
Yeah. Okay. So Matt, instead
I
of
really need to
But
rewatch
some
the
of those
reboot because I
movies-
wonder if I'll like them more if they're referencing stuff that I understand.
yeah, just watch.
Because that's another thing. They just talk about all these things,
yeah,
and I'm
but
like,
you're not
it's
gonna
very
watch.
dated.
You're not gonna watch Gone with the Wind and The Count of Monte Cristo. And
I know.
you're not gonna watch those movies.
Of course.
Anyway.
No, but one of my favorite things I saw when Luke and Lorelai broke up for a minute and then he came back in to kiss her, she was watching Judy Garland and The Star is Born, and like that whole song is the one that's like ringing out while they're kissing, and it's like they use the movies as
Okay.
part of the story.
I didn't
too.
notice that. That's pretty cool. Again,
Well,
I think
love
the show is
musicals.
well
Oh,
constructed.
you know that. I love musicals. For you two who don't.
I think the show is well constructed.
I know like 3. I like the 3.
Oh, I know.
Okay, I don't think I like
Chicago,
musicals,
Bran.
but no. But then I
Friends
listen to
sometimes.
certain songs and I sing it so theatrically that I'm like, I could be in a musical.
So when she sings it, she likes musicals.
So I don't know if I don't like musicals, if I just don't like plays. Period.
Okay.
don't
So
know.
instead of posting a manifesto, he just posted 2 sentences. I don't know who the best is. I can tell you that Lorelai is the worst.
I love
And then I said,
Unknown.
"Where's your manifesto?" And he said, "It's truly not worth my time." Which
Sounds like me.
Which I think he said it's truly not worth my
Effort
time
to
to
reward
post.
ratio.
Which I think the one sentence though is that's a manifesto. It's like it's not worth my time to even say anything. Like that's what I think about the show.
We have not
That's
talked
his
about
opinion.
that dude who played the guitar.
The troubadour, the town troubadour.
Oh,
That's who I almost was picked. That's what I told Jonathan. I
feel like he's also
Honorable
like,
mentions Town
but then he
Troubadour.
goes away.
And Colin
He does.
He goes away.
They like have an
But then he
argument
comes
over.
back.
Oh, I haven't gotten there then.
The Town Troubadour?
Yeah.
He goes away and gets famous, and then he comes back.
Oh, see, I
okay,
haven't
so
gotten
I
there.
don't remember.
And then
that
all these
part.
other troubadours come in because he got discovered in Stars Hollow, so all these other troubadours came and like they are. And then there's like an episode where there's like a troubadour at every corner, and Taylor's freaking out.
Taylor. Ooh. Whew.
You need a Taylor
Taylor's the older
though.
guy, right?
Yeah.
Taylor Dosey
like
is
the
the
mayor.
main guy.
No.
He's
Keeping
like
all the
mayor.
events
No,
going.
Is he the mayor though? Like, do they ever
Not in the beginning,
call
but
him
later
the
he
mayor?
is.
Like,
yeah.
There are moments.
And then he does Dosey.
Thinks he runs everything.
He
I
does
actually
run
think those are
everything.
the funniest moments to me is whenever him and Luke are butting heads. I actually do laugh at some of those parts.
Yeah, that's
because
funny.
he's so ridiculous and Luke is so upset about it. That's funny. I do like that.
There's a lot of I think what's funny about the show is there's a lot of things that are just like really stark juxtapositions that you don't really notice. Like there's an episode when like Taylor and Luke are arguing about
It's well constructed.
like decorations for Thanksgiving, and they're arguing back and forth. And in the background, Lorelai's like getting things out on her own, and he's like, "At least use tongs." And like it's like all these craziness going on all at the same time.
The writers on the show, they have really constructed a great show.
Married couple.
The dialogue, they are. What do you know about them? Do you know?
They're a
Dan
married
and Amy
couple.
Palladino.
Yeah.
Well, and they did
That's
Miss
what I know.
Maisel too, which I love. Miss
I don't-
Maisel.
I've heard so many good things.
It's so
Is the
good.
dialogue similar?
Show?
I haven't
Tell me right
it's
now,
not
I'm gonna watch
it's
it.
not as fast. It's not as dizzy.
Okay.
And there's a lot more adult. Like there's cursing and inappropriate
okay, cool.
things. Like it's
Yeah,
not
'cause
a
it's on
teenage
Amazon
drama
Prime.
sort of thing. But I still really like it.
So yeah, I don't like the way they do
Not that
dialogue,
much.
but they've constructed a great show.
I don't, well, most of the things he recommends to me, I was like, I don't like that. There's too much yuckiness in it.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I can't do that. But I can do Maisel.
We have to, because we have to go.
We have to
So we
vote.
have to vote on who is the best character out of Emily, Sookie, Captain Kirk, and
Oh, also
Paris.
one time Kirk gets a cat.
still
Yeah, he calls it
She's-
cat. He names his cat Kirk.
See, to
And
me,
they're like,
Kirk-
isn't that going to
he's
be
just
confusing?
weird.
And he's like, well, maybe my mom can call me Human Kirk, and I'll call my cat Cat Kirk.
Oh, God.
And Rory goes, he's always been a cat person. He's just never had a cat.
a cat person.
And he has the same birthday.
anyone was
Yeah,
gonna
they
vote for it.
rag on him.
Your
the
joy
whole show.
in the show, it brings a smile to my face, but as it's happening, I'm just
You
like,
guys are going to keep watching, and this
This
week you're going
TikTok
to be
video
like,
is
Kirk is
hilarious.
funny. Kirk is funny. You're going to
We're
keep
gonna come
watching
back
it,
to
and
it.
you're
I
going to
don't-
realize how funny he is. You just
think
won't
I
pay
will.
attention.
You see the best character.
Wait, just wait.
You have to. Everybody, get it in your head right now.
here's the
Who
okay.
you're gonna say? We can't. You got to go, don't you?
It's your fault.
Yeah, you're right. I do have to go.
So if you
You
want to say
want to
one,
keep going.
I just want to say, everybody brought some really good arguments to the table, so I just want to say I appreciate that, and I'm really going to be thoughtful in my choice, but I want to say today a mind has been changed, so.
Ooh.
all right. So
Let's
you
do
got
this.
get it in your
Give me
head.
chills, Eric. Just kidding.
You got 3 seconds. We count down and we say who we think it is, or who we know it is. We know who it is at this
I feel
point.
bad picking my own, but
You,
Everybody.
I'm gonna
yeah.
do
you just
it.
gave away who you're
I'll,
picking.
I'll be faithful.
3, 2, 1.
Kirk.
Emily. So it's Emily. Emily.
I'm gonna
Do we need to do it
Emily with you.
again?
Emily, no.
Here-
All right.
I couldn't even go
Kirk
with
won?
like
You picked Kirk?
Sookie was the
Wow.
best,
On
but
a
like
show
she
called
argued it
Gilmore
so
Girls.
well.
Well,
She argued it so well.
You
And
argued
on
it
top of that,
very
I feel
well.
bad that it's
But
not
you
a
also,
female.
you
I
also
do.
brought, yeah, that's
In
so
this
true.
patriarchal society, we just picked Kirk on a show called Gilmore Girls, and Emily was the OG Gilmore Girl. Wow.
I couldn't even go with Sookie just because, like, yeah, she didn't go anywhere.
No, she
like, I
didn't.
can't
Yeah,
even remember
she's
her in the
super
later
sweet,
seasons.
but
Like, I
she
haven't
doesn't
gotten
do
to that
much.
part, but
She
I
doesn't
can't
do much.
remember her.
She
I think
cooks
just
and has babies, and
I don't
Another
remember
thing
anything
that
about her
helped
later.
sell Kirk for me was that the show to me is not funny at all. Like I rarely ever laugh. But nothing truly makes me laugh. So that's the issue.
You laugh when
It's
someone falls and hits their head.
right. That's my type of humor.
So you watch the Three Stooges?
No. That's my type of humor versus someone saying something. I don't laugh if people talk. That's not funny to me.
Well-
but anyways, Kirk does have moments of physical humor.
Yeah, he does. I say he
And
should make
so,
me laugh.
so that's what sold me is I was
Physical
like,
humor.
the show for the most part is talking and like the relationships and that's what I like. But if I wanted to bring it into the comedy perspective, Kirk is he's the only person that brings comedy into the show.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
For you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Like, individual person bringing in comedy.
yeah, because if he
Lorelai-
wasn't in it, some
Yeah.
episodes would not have any moments aside
It
from
wouldn't be
Lorelai
funny.
saying something like, "Ooh,"
Clever.
like at dinner, yeah, like
Erica, what is, because on the Game of Thrones episode, you left us with a motivational.
I don't have one this time. I just want to say, I guess.
What is the lesson we learned from Gilmore Girls? Because you gave us a lesson from Game of Thrones. What's the lesson? What do we need?
Your kids are gonna get messed up regardless.
I really think parenting going on.
That's true, but just do the best you can with your kids, with your dogs, with your cats. I don't want to discriminate and leave anybody out. So whatever you have in your life, just love it and nurture it, but know that you have to have the healthy balance.
Yeah, you can't be Emily, you can't be Lorelai.
You gotta find that balance.
I can't believe it. We did it again. We figured out who the best character is in whatever we're talking about, despite the podcast being called Your Favorite Character Sucks. Now the only question is, what should we do next? You can help us decide by following us at YFCS Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and telling us which show, movie, series, book you think we should do. Until then, hit that subscribe button and catch us on the next episode. Thanks for listening.